Coming up on this episode of The Brain Drain Show.
That shit could like stop you from having a career in skateboarding back in the day. How do we get to Todd Falcon? My dad was like a bouncer in this nightclub in Worcester, and he used to let all my mates in for free. And he'd be like, look after Vaughan, look after Vaughan. Because of that, like, I would always get a seat in the car. He kind of pulled me aside and was like, hey, we're starting this board company. A van pulls around in front of us, and it's like, it's Joe Brook, it's Antony Claravall. He was already there trying an ollie flip nose slide. So Rodrigo switched to an ollie heel flip nose slide, and both of those went down that day. He didn't have a driving license either. He would like drive around with a tie on, thinking that like he wouldn't get pulled over by the police because he wore this tie. Like, I have a place in my heart for Dandra Holber for the rest of my life. Like, the stuff we'd joke about doing, like he would be doing it like first try. I feel that Bomber, there was a lot of disparities forming at that point in time. Frank was arguing with Pete, Pete was arguing with Frank, Mark was arguing with Pete, Mark was arguing with Frank. Lenny Cooks just starts reading off some Bible speeches, and he's like, these guys just need Jesus in their lives. LeVar's just there like, dude, you just stole that bag off an old lady in the street, and you're telling us that these people need Jesus in their lives? Meeting Ollie and learning about style and who's good and like what's not good and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Like I knew I was turning pro, but I hadn't seen the graphic or anything like that. And I remember being so stoked. This is insane. I've got the cover of American magazine. My world in skateboarding was kind of crumbling a little bit. I was just a bit like, all the work that I've done isn't really amounting to anything right now. I remember one day particularly, we were like watching Waiting for the Awards, sat in my living room, phone rings, but it was Shier on the end of the phone. He was all right, Shier mate. And he was just like, well, I want to skate for Blueprint then. The last thing I was going to do before my contract was signed was to introduce myself to you guys and be like, hey, I'm your new TM. Okay, that's like the best side of skating these days, is that anything goes, kinda.
Good evening and welcome to another great episode of The Brain Drain Show with me, Forde Brookfield. Joined to my left is my one and only true love, Toby Batchelor. Toby, tell the listeners your name.
It's Toby.
And joined to our left, you could go off on a tangent about this guy, but all I need to say is that I love him. It is the one, the only, the star man. It is Vaughan Baker in the studio. Let's have a round of applause in the studio audience, please.
Hi guys.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for
What was this,
the long drive.
Was it the fourth booking attempt?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Playing hard to
A
get.
bit of distance between us.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is a long way away, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're probably on the 8th or 9th booking attempt to try and get Grove on.
Yeah,
So-
what's up with Grove? Why is he not coming through
So
with that?
Grove, if you're listening, you sweaty mosher, come on the
What's
show.
his excuse?
Well, he just lives far, but Vaughan's made it now.
You
So,
made it. You made
He
it
lives
work.
half an hour away from me and I barely see the lad.
oh really? You see the clips that you
Shots
put up.
Shots fired.
Straight in
You
there.
see the clips that you put up yesterday. That spot looks amazing. That big bank.
Hey,
with
that's
the,
so hard.
Yeah.
Backside tail slide is gnarly on that.
He's really pushing as well.
Yeah,
He's
because it's
got that-
uphill.
Yeah, he's got the
didn't see
gnarly. He's got the gnarly Grove push. You know, where he's like grunting in his face, like.
I don't know what you're talking about, but that's just reminded me. Did you see Wes and Pig Dog? They've been skating that pool. that's
Empty
been-
pond
yeah,
thing in Bristol.
Have you seen that? Oh, it
Not
looks
yet.
good.
Already?
You know, like, I mean,
It looks amazing.
yeah, it's it's got loads of bits and pieces to it.
It's just a pond on top of like a park hill, isn't it? That's been drained and it's all transitioned
Oh, really?
around it, so it's fully skatable.
Yeah, that's
Wes is
good.
on the mad rat these days.
Yeah, Wes is killing it. Yeah, big up Wes. Wes is
Yeah,
absolutely
good lad.
killing it.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
No
thank
worries.
you for making the
Pleasure.
travel.
Where exactly are you now? Down Cornwall way, right?
Yeah, I live in Penryn, which is like...
Basically another world away from the rest of mainland UK, right?
Yeah, I'm fully out of the mix.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of nice
Yeah.
and kind of not nice at the same time.
I the last time I went to Cornwall, I swore I would never go there again, just because the journey. I was just like, fuck.
Well, how long was the drive this morning from where you were to here?
Well, I stayed at my mum's in Worcester, so it was an hour and a half. But
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
total,
manageable.
if I was going to do it, it would be like almost 6.
6 hours.
Yeah.
It's a long old trip.
But it's great. It's like the best part of the UK, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah.
You're fully isolated from all the nonsense.
We'll come back to moving down there, but you're originally from Worcester, right?
Yeah.
And is that where you first skated, first picked up a board?
Yeah, I think I was maybe like 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple of kids in primary school in the last year, and I kind of started hanging out with them. And then my uncle had been skating a bit, so like I was kind of introduced that way. My brother like got a board first, and he was kind of into it, and I picked it up and was playing around. And then like my uncle would take us out a little bit, like to this one little spot, And then one day he took us to his friend's house, and his friend had propaganda on video. And I remember, like, Frankie Hill opens that up, right? And I remember watching that part, and the bit where he does the Japan down the big bank at the end was like, what sealed the deal? I was like, that's it. Like, I want to fly on a skateboard like this guy. And yeah, that's basically how it started originally.
What Frankie Hill part is it where he does the big board slide at the end and then it freezes and zooms in and he doesn't land it? It's in an early Powell video, but he's just
could be that one.
I think it might be propaganda. I'm just saying it's not public domain.
He's doing a load of handrails, and then the last one, it's huge, but it like...
I think it is that
zooms in because he doesn't land it.
He was full stuntman, wasn't he?
He was buck, like for the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of those rails and stuff that he skated was so stinking, like by today's standards, like.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a video recently gone out with him and Kr3w talking about who did the most kind of like iconic rails of that time. Was it Kr3w or Frankie Hill? And Kr3w did like super long curved rails, but Frankie Hill's doing like kink rails. That
it
like...
was Frankie Hill because I mean, in my mind, like
Kr3w was still on at that point.
Yeah, I wouldn't associate Kr3w with like skating street at that point in time.
Yeah, Frankie Hill was the original stuntman, really, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty gnarly. Japan in down those gaps as well. He proper.
Yeah, it was gnarly. He was just in the air for so long, and I was just like, my mind was blown.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was it, really. I think.
So it was that Frankie Hill part that was like, I'm gonna start skating.
Yeah, properly.
And did you learn Japan airs as well because of that?
It took me years, but I did later on. Yeah.
I find them really hard to like tweak it and get your foot back in. And he used to doing weights like the board was really straight behind him as well, and his leg was really straight, not like a little diddly kind of kick out.
I know. It's fly off days though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just adapting that to going down.
Yeah, Japan's were like. I learned the mute grabs to fakie because of you. I saw you doing them in one video, and I was like, I need to learn that because you can kind of grab it and move it so you don't hang up and you sort of drop down. So
you just put it all on the like the back leg really.
And you did the pop shove it one as well, didn't you?
Yeah,
pop shove it mute grab.
So stinking.
I did that once. Is that an illegal move?
I don't think it's that illegal.
Maybe not now.
Not now.
Anything goes these days.
Fucking too right.
But there was a point where
no, it's going.
No, leave it in.
No, it's going.
Like
that's what makes skate. That's like the best side of skating these days is that anything goes, kinda.
It's like everyone's purposely doing mobbed kick flips now in video parts, and like those half flips that were like super illegal. Everyone loves those flips. Half where you like you kick the board, kick flip it, and you pop it back round, like a cancel flip.
It's like that. It's like you literally have to have a mob kick flip to be able to do it.
I still say that's illegal.
Yeah.
I mean,
illegal tricks are the best tricks.
That's it. Yeah, they are now.
There are levels though.
Yeah, definitely.
The more illegal, the better.
That's it.
The no slide and the crooked grind with the little 90-degree shove it out.
Oh fucking hell! This is like the 7th
you can't do that.
time on a
I know,
podcast
but I see it happening all the time. I was like, you can't do that.
Have you ever skated eggs in Boston?
No.
There's a long ledge there, and apparently one of the illegal tricks was to do like a board slide pop out to fakie. That was just an illegal trick. And someone
in the middle.
In the middle of a ledge, popping out in the middle of a ledge, which is amazing, I think. And then when we got told that on the day, we went and filmed one. Me and Will went and filmed one in a line, just so it's kind of like a nod to like PJ and all the dudes that had this long list of illegal tricks that you could not do at a spot.
What else was on there?
Fucking no idea.
It's not so much you couldn't do it at a spot, it's just couldn't do it anywhere. Illegal tricks were illegal wherever they were.
Well, no, it depends.
No.
Like that shit could like stop you from having a career in skateboarding.
Yeah, absolutely. It could.
Yeah, it was.
Where it kind of doesn't these days, which I find kind of debatable too.
Yeah, 30 years ago, Sean
I'm
would be existing. He'd be out.
I'd be fucked.
Sean would be gone.
I mean, as much as I'm contradicting myself here, but...
I know what you mean, though. Like, yeah, I don't know. But, fuck it.
Well, look at Woodstock around that time. Surely everything he was doing was like...
illegal.
So illegal as football.
No.
But then he started doing it on ironing boards and longboards and dressing up as a clown, and that saved his career. Look how disapproval face he is.
Shit was painful.
Yeah, I mean, but then he sort of moulded that career for himself, didn't he? It was quite kind of a short career.
Well, with his own board brand and doing it all for himself and
giving himself.
I rate people that do their own board.
What was it? Like Sonic Skateboards? Was
Sonic
that
Skateboards? Yeah.
Like one of my favourite skaters, Todd Falcon. You know Todd Falcon?
Oh my
you know
God.
Todd Falcon, the guy
That's like another level, though, isn't it?
the guy that's just bought out a video where it's like he's been filming it for 35 years.
Even I think that's illegal.
I fucking love it. He's just bought out a video 35 years in the making to film 1,000 original tricks. He's absolutely amazing. We need to get him on. Right, let's get...
How do we get to Todd Falcon?
I don't know.
From
What have I done here?
From Woodstock in
In the
illegal
first 5
tricks.
minutes with Vaughan Baker, we're talking about Todd Falcon.
That's it.
So you saw propaganda, skating with your uncle.
Yeah.
How did it kind of evolve? And like, what year are we talking about with this? Sorry.
Well, what year was propaganda?
Could be like 90. I think it was late when I watched it, so it could be like 93 or something when I started.
So coming out of small wheel era.
Just going into it.
Or going into it. Oh yeah, 90. Yeah. 90.
Going into it. So I think like the first like, yeah, because obviously you go through that stage of getting the board from the toy shop, and then you get the second-hand board hand me down from your uncle or whatever, and then I think my dad bought me my first board, and it was like a Tony Hawk street board, and like New Deals. So it was like New Deal was around, so it was like between.
What shape was the Hawk board?
It was like
was it the street board with the big nose?
Yeah, no, it was before that, so it was a small nose. I must have just bought like a clearance board off the wall because noses were already growing at that point.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of the shops had like closeout stuff that they were trying to
Yeah,
do
that's
because
it.
things were changing pretty quickly at that point.
Yeah. So I mean, my town, like, they had like this youth centre with this indoor half pipe that everybody skated, and on Tuesdays it would be like under 14s or something like that. So we would all go to that. But all the older skaters would always be skating out the front of there and in the NCP next to it. So I would see them like going past. So I would see there was a scene. I would there were a few kids at school I was skating with. And yeah, I just, we would go to this, and then I would skate around by my nan's house and whatnot. Because we were moving around quite a bit at that time. But then, I mean, later on, I got to know the older guys, and they kind of like
Took you onto their
took me
wing.
on. Yeah.
Who were the older guys in the crew at that time that you'd first started skating
There
with?
was this guy from Worcester called Pob, and this other guy called Lee James, and this other skater called Leon Bennett, and then there were a few older guys like Ken and Joel who had Third Foot. They had like a skate shop inside where the half pipe was,
Right.
called Fetish. It was just basically a broom cupboard, and you could buy like second-hand boards from there and new shit.
So was that the first kind of local skate shop that you went to? Was there?
No,
So
there
what
was another one called Sketchy Skates, which was in town inside like a food market. Yeah,
Fetish is such a
it was a
name
banging
for a
name.
skate.
Yeah.
It's really good.
But yeah, I mean, it's a funny story. Like how I ended up hanging out with the older skaters was because my dad was like a bouncer in this nightclub in Worcester, and they used to have like an indie night on a Thursday, and he used to let all my mates in for free. Mm-hmm. And he'd be like, look after Vaughan. So they would like, because of that, like I would always get a seat in the car.
You look after Vaughan, you can get in the clubs.
Yeah, and I'll look after you in the club.
Yeah.
So I always used to get a seat in the car. So, and pre this, like my dad would take us to like Leamington skating.
It's hard to get a seat in the car at a young age.
Yeah, I was the youngest because I was
no one driving.
I was still like maybe 13, and they were like 17, 18. They were already partying and doing all that.
Did you ever consider taking up the doorman phase? Like,
look at
your
me,
dad?
of course not. Like, don't like get an image of my dad from an image of me. I mean, we looked alike, but like, yeah, he was much bigger.
So you said you had a seat in the car. You say you were going skating. Where was you skating at that time?
Yeah, so originally, like my dad would take us to Leamington at the weekends. He would have us at the weekends, so he would drive us places. So we'd go to Leamington. That would be, and Wheels in Birmingham. Mm-hmm. And then a little later, when I was hanging out with the older lads, like it would be like Radlands, Oxford. We'd go to the like the BMX track in Abingdon, and go skate that like
that was good. The one in Abingdon,
thing.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
with
fun.
The kickers.
Yeah, Northampton a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean, there were a lot of skaters in the area. There were guys from Evesham and surrounding Birmingham, of course, like Bither and Jagger. I maybe skated with once or twice before he went off to Chicago. then the Oxford lot, like Scamp and Joe Habgood and Tom Penny a little bit, and Danny Wainwright too. They would show face every now and again on Worcester, skating there.
How did it kind of morph into you like getting hooked up, and what were your first sponsors? And
I think like, you know, from there to like sponsorship, like it was quite a long time. Like Worcester changed a lot. Like all those dudes kind of went off, stopped skating, parted, whatever. And then there was a real downtime where I was pretty much skating by myself and maybe one or two people. Then I was skating with the guys in Cheltenham a lot. Like I met them, they came to Worcester, and that's where I met like Justin Sidman and hang out with Danny Moore. And I used to like stay at Stevie Thompson's house a lot. So I did like maybe a year of that.
Yeah.
Then I met some people from surrounding areas and skated with them in Worcester still, just back there. And then eventually, because of the Cheltenham connection, I kind of like got sponsored by this shop, Legends. It was like some kind of like lifestyle.
Where was that?
Cheltenham it was.
Right.
And it was around that time that I started like skating in contests. Like I did a few Radlands amateur contests. I skated that like Warped Tour in London.
Oh, rad.
And then
just getting out and about, basically.
Yeah, getting out and about as much as I could. I think like living in a town like Worcester, you kind of, I don't know, I felt like I look back on it and I'm like, damn, up until a point, like I was really sheltered. Like I didn't really know that much, you know, there wasn't, all the skate shops closed down, so I didn't have that much access to what was going on outside until we started hanging out in Birmingham a bit more. And that's when I kind of got together with the Ideal guys and skated with all those locals there, and then started work, like met Andy Evans and started filming for Chilling. So it was all around that time.
Were they some of the first videos you filmed towards? Was Andy Evans' videos?
That was the first one, yeah.
It.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think because, like, you know, I'm going from 15 to like 17 really fast. But yeah, it was about that time. I think I was 17, 18 when I filmed for that.
Was when you started filming with Andy, was that kind of your first experience of filming skating, or did you have
yeah. I mean, like I said, like I really had no exposure to anything at that point, like, so I really didn't know. And I think when we filmed that video, I think I filmed that part in maybe like 2 weeks or something like that. And it was done, you know what I mean?
And was you travelling to Birmingham mainly to film that, or was Andy coming to you, or was it
he came to Worcester? I think he came to Worcester once, and then I skated Birmingham like one weekend. So it was like over like 2 or 3 weekends that I filmed that whole part, basically.
You had that rad bank spot. Was that in Worcester?
That was in Droitwich. So that place was like a mad bust when I was younger. But there was like times where we managed to get through. And I think around that time, it became less of a bust again. And at that point, when I was filming for that video, it was when I started shooting for Sidewalk for the first time. So I shot my haunts around the same time I was filming for that. Wig. So Wig started coming through to Worcester. I think I shot like a sequence with him in Birmingham the summer before it, like a mini ramp jam that Ideal did.
So he was aware of you, and
yeah.
It's a big honour to shoot with Wig as well.
Yeah, I mean it was a good way in. Yeah. And you know, I felt like, I mean, I didn't know. You know, I felt super confident shooting with him, and he never messed around. He always got it. It wasn't.
How did that connection with Wig come about? Did you end up on a session with each other? Because you couldn't have
it was at that ramp jam.
It would have had to physically seen each other for it to happen.
I think what happened was that through the Ideal Connect, he got my number. Yeah. And then he called me.
Called the landline?
Called the landline at my mum's house, yeah.
Vaughan, there's a Wig on the phone.
Matthew Warland.
But yeah, that was cool. That was like, I was like kind of straight in the mag, really. I don't think I really had that much, you know, aside from the little like intro, I don't think I shot that much between that and the haunts.
It's interesting going straight to the haunts, because then Sidewalk bought the first light around, didn't they? For like, that was like your stepping stone. And then the haunts was like the 5-6 page.
Yeah, that's it.
The first light was like a two page. So you went straight from nothing to filming a part in 2 weekends. to then having haunts as well.
Yeah, something
is
like that. Yeah.
A very quick stepping stone there.
So were
Yes.
you were on Ideal, I'm assuming, at this point,
Yeah.
and things were starting to happen a bit more. Like when did I'm assuming Bomber was the first board sponsor, right?
Yeah, it was.
And how did that come about?
Trying to think how that came about, really. I mean, I know how that came about.
Not just any bomber, the good bomber.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I just kept doing what I was doing, and then I think later that year, I went to a contest in Liverpool, and skating the AM contest there, and it was like Brian Sumner days,
Yeah.
Olly Todd, like all those locals, like Gravedigger Owl, like all those dudes. It was there, and I skated that, and John Robson was there with Alan and Harry, and at the end of the day, he kind of pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, we're starting this board company. It was at the time it was him, Al. I mean not John. I mean Harry, Al, Frank, and myself." And obviously, like, I was like, yeah. I mean, I was a really big Frank fan at the time because he was just jumping loads of shit. And
I think everyone was.
Yeah.
And Harry Bastard as well.
Yeah, and Harry.
Does Grove still shout, "For Harry Bastard," then takes his top off?
Not so much these days.
Because all he used to scream at me when I was filming for him, "This go for Harry Bastard, top comes off."
So yeah, I mean, obviously, I was like super stoked because
Yeah.
I was looking up to all of those guys. They were in the mag.
Yeah.
You know, they were like kind of, local British heroes. At
And
the
being
time.
asked to be a part of it, something new.
From
Yeah.
its beginning.
And not being like just a distro flow thing. You're actually
No.
on the full team of
And,
this brand.
and the
that's
thing is
starting.
all those guys are sponsored, right? Frank was on Panic at the time.
Yeah.
Like Harry and Al were all getting like head to toe from New Deal. So yeah, I was really overwhelmed. And
Because
it
was Bomber heavily like Midlands at that point, or was that later years? Because I remember a
can't
lot of
really
Bomber was
remember.
like Nottingham.
well, Al lived in Nottingham,
Yeah.
and Harry was in Nottingham at the time too. So that was the connect there, I guess. Because actually, like, I think it was like maybe 3 weeks later, like, I got a call and I was invited to come to Nottingham because originally it was going to be funded by Roller Snakes. So, yeah, like, I remember like the night before, like I bought my train ticket. I think I was like working like a part-time job at the time. I bought my train ticket and I was like gluing my D-lams in the garage the night before with glue, like, because all my shit was knackered. Like I wasn't, I was a single parent from a single parent family and we had no money. We were broke. So
That's something, gluing D-lams. That's like, I've
Yeah,
thought
we-
about doing that for years. You just brought back those memories of
yeah, it was
filling out the
random.
cracks with sawdust and
Yeah.
glue and trying to clamp it down.
Like
and,
the house we were living in at the time randomly had a garage and there was a clamp at the back. So,
Right, yeah, you could
Oh,
sort
rad.
that.
So yeah, I remember that the night before and getting up and getting on the train and like kind of getting to Nottingham train station, getting directions to where Roller Snakes was, and obviously like shitting myself because I didn't know these guys. Like I didn't know anybody. I ended up finding John eventually at the store, and then Harry and Al showed up. Frank was nowhere to be seen; he was late. And we sat with Paul Haynes and had a meeting, and then like I went to the bar. I went to the bar with Harry and Al afterwards, and they were shooting pool, and I was just like, "Why are these guys going skating right now? Like, I'm here to like skate right now." But
Yeah,
Frank,
don't they know how long you fixed those D-lams for last night?
When I was like looking at their shit, like they were brand new boards, brand new shoes, and I was like, "Oh God, this is it! Like, am I going to start getting some like new shit all the time?"
So they had all the Bomber boards were starting to be in circulation. at that
No, I
point.
mean they were all riding like New Deal shit still. So like,
So it was that fresh that they hadn't had boards made.
No,
at that
not
point.
even that. It was like the first conversation. Like, this is what we're going to try and do.
Yeah,
I wonder why Paul didn't go for it at that point. Maybe there was other
because
stuff
obviously
going on.
years later he did, didn't he? But
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Frank showed up later that day, and again, like he was head to toe on his shit, and I was like, Jesus, like these guys have got it so fucking good compared to me. But me and Frank just went skating like late into the night. We skated the bus station, the square, and yeah, it was rad because I was like kind of in awe of Frank at the time too.
Frank seems like, from an outsider's point of view, that he'd be pissed off if he had to stop skating at any point. Like if you meet him at 11, he's going to be skating from 11 till he has to go to bed, and then he's going to get back up and do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't seem to stop.
And then I went home the next day, and then that was it for a couple of weeks. And I just kind of went about my stuff. But then got another call, had an update, and then in that time, like Pete Hellicard had come on board. He was going to work on it with John. Mark Channer had come on board, and I was a really big fan of Mark at the time.
Big up Channer.
Too.
Yeah, we want to get Channer on.
One of the best, this guy. So, just and then the next time we all met up, it was in London. Like Roller Snakes had nothing to do with it. We had another person helping us out.
And who was it who eventually did it? Because
it was this company called L'Esprit de Keep, and I guess they were a distributor. So in house, it was like a lot of snowboard brands, and they had Duffs.
I was going to say.
So I'd
Duffs.
gotten on Duffs as well as part of kind of like this moving, like bringing that thing together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I think Pete was sending me down some like blank boards sprayed up with some stencils and stuff. And then the next thing I saw like drafts of the Pete Fowler graphics, the original ones, like the GIMP and the other two, like the Bomb Maker, and the other one was like, one was green, one was blue, one was orange. GIMP was blue, Bomb Maker was orange. I can't remember what the green one, it was like CCTV or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I saw those, and then the next time I'm going to London to go to the office to meet those guys, and the boards, I remember like the boards coming off like the conveyor belt, opening the boxes, and then we were just all setting them up upstairs, because they had like next door to the warehouse, they had the office. It was like upstairs above a meat like a distribution place. Like the meat would come in the mornings, they'd take it out. So this office like stank. But that's where we would stay up there. Like no amenities at all, you know, like if you were pissing, you'd be pissed. There was like a staircase that went all the way down this hole into the ground, and we would be pissing down that, you know. It was like,
and at that time, seeing that, was you still a little bit kind of like, fucking hell, this is actually happening, when you first get those boards and you look at them and you're like, no more D-lamps?
Yeah.
I mean, you must have been hyped to get free boards if you
know, totally. And like Ideal had helped me out a bit with boards up to that point, but it, you know, it was probably one a month, and if you're skating every day, and at that time, like boards weren't good quality anyway, right? Yeah. So you could get through one in a day, and then I'd be like trying to piece it together between, big up Chris and Zip, by the way.
Chris and Zippy, yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Because what British board brands around? Because there wasn't many British board brands.
Panic and Blueprint at that. Well, yeah, like Blueprint was probably in its inception at that time, but it was Panic, really. And I think like those guys obviously like started. You know, you could also say that like Flip going to the US may have like kind of motivated people more. I don't know, but I think the idea of trying to build something that was ours outside of the US, because that kind of level of transcending Europe to that part of the world was almost near impossible at that time, right? Like Geoff and those guys almost barged it.
Yeah, they did.
When they took Flip over there, and beyond that, like, you know, you could probably count it on maybe one hand. You know, Curtis McCann,
there wasn't many.
There was a real turning
Steve
point,
Douglas.
wasn't there? It was like everyone just got fed up of Americans not really being inclusive of anything other than America or California. Yeah. Which you kind of understand why they did it.
But it is understandable, because at that point in time, like, you know, it's not like it is today. It was very fragmented, and everybody built their own. That DIY aspect of skateboarding was well and true then, and like, I think that's how like all of these British brands built their own, because it gave skaters something immediately there to look up to and to aspire to, when that dream of being in California was so far away. Yeah.
Boards start arriving.
Yeah.
Bomber launches.
Yeah.
How did it all go?
It was rad. I mean, the energy was really good.
Yeah.
Like we just immediately kind of got into like being around each other and skating together, and then we started working on Unapromo. Kind of went from there, really. Like I was traveling to Ipswich to see Frank a bit, skate with him there in London with the guys.
Where was you living around filming for the Unapromo?
I was still in Worcester.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the tricks, like towards the end of that part, was all in Worcester. Like the four gnarly spots that I had to skate, I skated those.
Yeah. And how long did you have to film for that video? Because it's because even though it's Unapromo, it's a pretty long video as well. It's like
yeah, but I don't
35 minutes.
think it was even like. I don't think the window was that long, really.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 months max. But Frank was filming, like Mark would film, so it really came together real fast. Yeah, and I remember like, I was with Frank and Mark so much at that point in time. Like I remember Frank had like this one Mini that he used to go around in. And at this time, like he didn't have a driving license either, so he would drive around with a tie on, thinking that like he wouldn't get pulled over by the police because he wore this tie. I mean,
So
he did, and he got taken to court, and all of that happened, and he got in a lot of trouble for it. But
Yeah.
and this thing was like a piece of shit. Like it would break down like every. I remember the one day we'd been in Manchester. It was fucking like bitter cold. It was like February or something like that. Like that cold that your grip tape was falling off.
Yeah.
And we were trying to get back to Worcester to drop me off so Frank could go on and do. I think he was going to Oxford afterwards to stay with Horsley and them lot. But everything was breaking. This car was breaking down. I remember one point, like we were in the middle of nowhere, and like I think the tie ended up being at the cam out or whatever for a bit. And it got us to Worcester. It got us to the outskirts of Worcester, but it took us like 6-7 hours.
Yeah.
Right. From
Still while he didn't have a proper license.
no driving license.
Yeah.
And I remember like pushing this car for like 2 miles to my mum's house. Like it was me, Channa, and Nick Taylor from Norwich. And I remember at one point, like Mark was just in the middle of the road, just like, I can't do this anymore. Still pushing this thing.
Yeah.
Did you know that you were going to have last part in that video? Was
No.
it discussed?
No.
And so how was it seeing that and the prem?
Was there a prem?
I tell you where they showed it first was there used to be that trade show in Manchester. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
G-Mex.
Yeah, G-Mex. It was G-Mex. We had a stand there, and they played it on the stand. And I remember like being like, oh, okay, but you guys are the big guys. Like I'm just like this kid. Like I hadn't really kind of like accepted the fact that like I could be anything more than like the new dude. But then suddenly I was like the last part.
How old was you at that point?
19, 18. No, I was 18.
Was you watching it kind of like, all right, their part's done, I'm next. Their part's done, I'm next. And then eventually it goes on, and then your part comes in right at the end.
A little bit, yeah.
With that song as well.
It's really hard to remember back, but I do remember just being really like gobsmacked that like those guys had collectively like made that decision for me. Like it was really nice of them.
Yeah, it was a good video, wasn't it? I remember going into, it must have been Exit in Leeds, getting one of the first bomber boards when it came out. It was quite a bit of hype around it at the time, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I guess like at that time, like being a kid from Worcester that really didn't like have that many connects to the skateboarding industry, to be kind of like thrown into it like that and be part of something that actually like took off organically from the offset. Yeah, I mean, it was mind blowing.
You've got any other good Frank stories? I've never hung out with him.
Yeah, we want to get.
I'm a massive fan of Frank.
We'd love to get him on
Always
here, but
was.
he's just. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
No.
Getting him on here.
I don't think I haven't prompted myself enough for this because there are so many.
I bet there's loads that you've kind
Just
of
like scraps with security guards and just like his ways of doing things.
Yeah.
Very bullheaded, but lovely.
What was the timeline between Unabomber to the Headcleaner video? And was you still living in Worcester at that point?
I was still living in Worcester. So like a lot happened in that time now, actually. I guess I moved in with Al, and we all moved. Brunswick just moved to Bristol. I guess 50-50 was popping off then. Those guys had a really good scene. They were doing a lot, and there was a lot. They clearly had a lot to skate. Like their video, any coverage you saw, any of the videos that they were making, like there was a lot to skate. So myself, Mark Channa, Alan Rushbrooke, Mike Manzouri, and his partner Sharon, we all got a place in Bedminster and Bristol. And I lived there for 6 months with them. That was great. I mean, we would skate every day. We would go skating street in the day with Mike. And then in the evening, we'd go to the indoor skate park and ride and skate vert and the mini ramp. So we had like a good back end of the summer after. Unapromo came out, just skating together a lot there.
Was Manzeri filming at that point as well?
Yeah. I shot like a Wheels of Fortune at that time for 411, which...
Because Mike obviously had all the connections.
Yeah, totally.
And being out there.
So interesting being that good at skating, the Manzori level of good at skating, and then wanting to film heavily as well.
He's just a creative guy, though. You know, like his day to day would be like wake up, like smoke a bong, like play some chess, paint a picture, like edit some stuff together, be in his room doing some 8mm shit through you know, out of his window and stuff. Then we'd go out street skating, and then we'd go home, eat some dinner, and go back skating again. So we were him especially was really. Yeah. But like the level that guy was at that time too, like I think it taught, I know that Mark knew him really well, but it certainly taught me a lot, you know, what being a professional skateboarder really was. Being that, like seeing it in front of my eyes like that. Yeah. You know, outside of like being around the Unabomber guys, like this was the first guy that I'd really, really spent a lot of time with that was a professional. And I mean, you know, you could take Mike to anything and he would be the best at it there. Yeah. So I lived with those guys.
How are you surviving at that point? Were you getting paid from anyone?
No, I was. I went. Like the idea was the way I talked my mum into letting me go because I was still pretty young. I was like, look, you know, I was still 18. I was only just 18. I was like, look, you know, I'm going to go to college. So I kind of got like a bit of a little student like grant thing going on, and went to college once. And on the first day, I realized that I was like maybe 2-3 years older than some of the kids in class because I'd already skipped it. You know, I tried to go to college, like I wanted to go to art college and do all that, but
it was different back then because you could kind of do that because the grants and everything was different.
Exactly.
At the beginning, and that was that.
So I think I got like maybe 8. It wasn't that much. I think I was paying 80 quid a month for my room or something crazy. Like it was so cheap, and I think I probably had another like 40-50 quid to live on, so it was really beans on toast lifestyle really. I lost a lot of weight actually, and I was skinny anyway, so yeah, I mean that's how I got by, and I ended up just skating the rest of the time, and then from there I think I got on Converse around that time. Pete Turvey had worked at L'Esprit de Keep, so I met, like my relationship with that guy started there, and he was the Duff's team manager, and then he started Converse on like, you know, as a licensee in Europe. He was part of that, and he built a team together, which was Alan, myself, Simon Skip, I believe, Simon Pepolo.
Yeah, Skip.
I'm trying to think, who was that? Maybe Pete King. I think that was it. But we would get a check, like we would get like $250 a month or something like that. So I think maybe that was the tail end of being in Bristol. So I think at the back end I got some money, but we somehow managed to kind of like coerce Pete into finding the money to fly me and Al and Andrew Horsley to Australia to shoot some stuff.
Because
Alan's girlfriend was living out there.
Not
working.
Anywhere in Europe first, just straight to Australia.
I went to Paris once on the ferry to like some trade show with Pete and those guys for like 2 nights, and I remember it was just freezing cold, absolutely awful experience.
And you were like, fuck this, we're going to Australia.
But I mean, it was all Al. Like I wouldn't have thought about it, and because I was like running with those guys, it was like, do you want to come? And I was like, cool, I'll come.
How the fuck did you convince him to cover all of that plane fare?
Well, it's just the plane fare because we kind of like, we just figured it out ourselves. Because back then, like the Australian dollar to the pound was so good, you know? It was almost like $250 to £1. So you were flossing almost. So yeah, I mean, that was the first time I got on a plane. I remember like asking Al as we were taking off, I'm like, what's it like, man? And he was like, bearing in mind, it's like a 24-hour journey. He's like, just think about being in a roller coaster. And I was like, I fucking hate roller coasters.
So how long was that after Headcleaner and getting on Converse and when did you go pro for
Headcleaner hadn't happened at that point. We were kind of filming loosely for Headcleaner. Yeah. Like, I think we filmed for years on that thing. Yeah. That's why it looks so disjointed, I think, in places. My part especially. But, we flew out there. We flew to Sydney, and we had a 3-month return, and we just trying to piece it together in between, basically. But we flew to Sydney. Andy was there with his partner Kate for like 2 or 3 weeks, and we just stayed in like hostels and stuff like that. But that was rad. It was like around the time of like Time Skateboards was around in Australia, so like Al Boglio and Andrew Curry and all those dudes, and we were kind of like mixed with those guys a little bit too. But that was rad. I mean, first time going anywhere, but it's not so different to the UK at the end of the day, is it? It's not like I jumped in the deep end, to be honest. But we stayed in Sydney for a month, and then because Al's girlfriend Michelle was working in Adelaide, we jumped on a bus to Adelaide for 24 hours.
I was going to say, isn't Adelaide the most remote city?
Yeah, it's really far away from everything.
Yeah.
But we were fit. Like we shot a bunch for Sidewalk in Sydney, and we managed to make an article out of that. And then the going to Adelaide bit was almost a holiday bit.
24-hour bus ride.
24-hour bus ride.
Fuck that.
Yeah, no chance. Well, maybe. I don't mind a long travel, but what were we doing? Stopping off?
Yeah, we just kept stopping off like at different spots along the way.
Yeah.
Like it was just, you'd stop off at some random hut in the middle of nowhere and like get a pie and a can of Coke and get back on the bus.
Nice.
It was long. And it was like, a surreal experience, like leaving the UK and going through the desert like that. Like some of the bugs and stuff I saw, like I would forget to this day, just purely because it was like I hadn't even thought that I would be doing this.
Yeah.
Bit different to Worcester.
A lot different to Worcester, man. Worcester's like, I don't know.
So at this point, you're on Converse, Bomber. You got any other sponsors going
I was skating for Kr3w Clothing actually, and
Oh yeah.
Was it around that? Yeah, I lied because I did go abroad between then, because we did like this one trip, and it was for dope, and we got on a coach. They had a double-decker bus and a minibus, and this double-decker bus was like kitted out with a living room, and all that, so you could like chill on this bus. And we drove around the Swiss Alps, like from the UK around the Swiss Alps.
Was there an article on that? Wasn't there?
Yeah, I think so. And there was a video clip too.
Who was a Finnish guy who rode for dope?
Jussi Kahonen.
That's it.
And there was another one, Mape Matalin or something like that. Yes, so we did that trip too, and we filmed for that video. But the first time officially on a plane was to go to Australia. But yeah, Adelaide was dope. Like, I guess originally we got and stayed at Al's girlfriend's place, but she was living in a shared apartment with all these other people that worked with her at this sales company, and they were fucking lunatics, man. So
In what way?
Just revheads, you know what I mean? Aussie revheads, not skaters, just chavvy dudes. So Al ended up staying there, and I kind of met her with a bunch of skaters and ended up staying with them. And I just kind of went off and did my thing with them for 2 months, like skating every day, swimming, just dollar beers at night. Yeah, it was rad.
Yeah.
Really good experience. Can't really it's not a load of tales to tell. It was just, I just remember being there and just skating, like constantly skating.
Then you came back and...
Yeah, actually, no. One notable thing is I somehow ended up like that. My friend had rode for this distributor, and this distributor was helping me out because I couldn't get boards out there. So he was giving me boards, and he was like, you know what, like, we got some skaters coming into town. You just come and do a demo with these guys, and, I'll hook you with some boards, and that'll be it for you. And I was like, cool, all right, whatever. And it turned out that it was such a random crew. It was like Pancho Mola, Dandra Hovel, Pat Duffy, Tony Alva, and Cara Beth.
So Think and...
Yeah,
like
it was Think. It was Think.
Venture, Think.
Yeah, it was Think. So I skate with those guys.
How was Pancho Mola at that point?
He was chill, actually. He was skating a bit. I think Pat Duffy was the wild card on that.
Has he
one.
stopped drinking now, Pat Duffy?
No, I've not spoke to him for a while.
Yeah, he's a bit wild, isn't he?
Yeah.
Lovely guy.
Oh, and was that dude Dorfus? Remember that dude? Aussie guy. He was kind of like a ATV guy, like crusty, like.
Yeah. Dorfus.
Yeah, he passed away.
You can make a more Australian sounding name than you.
He's
Dorfus.
Dorfus.
But like that trip, like I have a place in my heart for Dandra Hobble for the rest of my life, because that dude, like, it was so fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, he was not messing around. Like,
Yeah,
the
it's
stuff we'd
amazing.
joke about doing, like, he would be doing it, like, first try.
With 5 cigarettes in his mouth.
Just 5
at the same
cigarettes
time.
in his mouth, yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of he fits into that kind of Wade Speyer,
Yeah.
Dan Hobel, Phil Show.
Yeah.
It's that, you know, they just they make it look good.
Yeah.
When whatever
And
they do.
did it easy, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've never seen Joe Brook skate in real life.
No.
I'd love to. He's
Yeah,
one of
he
my faves.
was really good.
So what happened after that trip then, with like coming back to the UK and then finishing up for the video and going pro for Bomber?
So that video didn't finish for like another year.
How come it took so long? Was it just a mismatch?
I just think that, like,
Skateboard, isn't it?
yeah, but I feel that Bomber had started becoming, like, there was a lot of disparities, you know, forming at that point in time. Like, Frank was arguing with Pete, Pete was arguing with Frank, Mark was arguing with Pete, Mark was arguing with Frank.
Frank was arguing with everyone.
Yeah.
What were they arguing about? Was it like
Just
art
like what they
direction?
wanted. Yeah, art direction, what they wanted, like how the video should be, like, you know, what the next move is. We shouldn't be selling out. Like, it was a lot. Like, and bear in mind, like, I was really young. Like, in my mind, all I wanted to do was skate. Like, I wasn't trying to, like, get into the mess of the bit of like what was going on internally.
Did you have any kind of insight into how well Bomber was doing at that time? Because it was.
I know,
You know,
it was
like you said, it's
flying,
prominent.
but like I said, like, I just didn't care. Like, I was really happy just having boards, going skating, shooting for the mag, filming,
Being in the crew.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pete was really good. Like, you know, like we did stuff for Trans World. Like, he was trying to like broaden
Elevate
the brand.
it.
Yeah. And I think, like, a lot of those ideas that Pete and John had were just, like, to this day, I still believe that they're still relatively revolutionary, like timeless almost. Like, none of us had any money really. Converse started petering out after us. No, actually, it was a bit longer.
It's a long time ago, isn't it? Trying to
Yeah, it is a
remember
long
how
time
things
ago,
sort
and
of fell into place.
you don't think about it that much
No.
in your day
Yeah.
to day. But I got back from Australia. Al went back to Nottingham, I believe, and I went back to Worcester, and I just started hanging out in Birmingham loads because it was just close to me. The affordability of me going to London wasn't really there a lot, and yeah, I think that it started getting a bit complicated. I think the Speed of Keep went under. We moved over to Slam. It took a while for that to kind of like kick in, but it was cool because of that. Like, we all started skating for Slam and getting all this other product. Like, you know, we'd all get trucks, we get wheels, we'd pretty much be really hooked up in terms of having a skateboard, like a full skateboard. Like, and I spent that year, just skating in Brum, filming for Headcleaner with whoever had a video camera. It was around this time actually that I met Olly Todd, because he moved to Worcester. Like, his dad got a job in Worcester. He'd finished university and he'd moved with them. So I met Olly around that time. So I just started skating with him loads, like, because Worcester didn't really have any skateboarders at that time, and the dudes that did skate, like, they were chilling. It was just a pastime for them, whereas for me it was like maybe a bit more. So having Olly around was really good. Like, he taught me a lot. Like, because, you know, he went to university in Liverpool. He was really close to that scene. Those guys were pretty, you know, they were in on what they liked, what they knew, and they were pretty strict on the way that things went down. And meeting Olly and like learning about style and who's good and like what's not good and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Like, I really didn't have
tricks.
I really didn't have that filter, like, until that point, to be honest. So it was rad having him. So me and him would like travel to Birmingham every weekend, and then we'd start traveling to London together and whatever skate contest was going on. So yeah, we spent that summer. I think I got back from Australia in April. I met Olly maybe in the May. Yeah. And then we skated all the summer together. And throughout that time, we just hashed out a plan to go to San Francisco. Like, he obviously, like, you know, he's like, he read a lot of books for beat poets and whatnot. So and a lot of his favorite skaters were from there, and likewise skate wise. So we hashed out a plan to do that trip. So Olly worked all summer, and I managed, me and Pepolo actually, because I came with us, we managed again to get another flight out Pete Turvey, and a month's board at a hotel.
Oh, nice.
Oh, luxury.
So we got through Christmas, and I think that was like, it was 1990. What's it on the mag here? 2000. So it's 1999. No, it was 2000, because we spent 2000 in an apartment in Birmingham. We partied it out together, saw it through, and then we went to San Francisco maybe 2 or 3 weeks after that. And that was, we showed up there, like, actually Ollie, the night before, like, me and Ollie went out for a drink with my one friend, and he kind of like, some kid kind of said something to him, and he lipped off at this kid. The kid just smacked him in the face. Ollie went down, and immediately he got a shiner coming out. So he like kind of had to go through customs with this black eye. And I remember like he was trying to go through with the sunglasses on, and
they don't like that shit.
They didn't like that shit. They made him pull the glasses off, and they were like, what's up there, boy?
So was it in San Fran when you got the cover for the Slap magazine?
Yeah. So we rode it to SF, found a hotel at the airport. I think we got a bus and then walked to the hotel. Found it. It was actually like really central, right next to Union Square. And I guess like it was like the skate hotel, kind of like there were some Canadian skaters there, a few other people always knocking around. But yeah, we're skating SF a lot. And I'd already met Joe Brook because he'd come and stayed with us in Bristol with P Stone to shoot Mike before. Mm-hmm. So I had his number and a couple of others. But I don't think I ever called him. I think I bumped into him in the street one day. But we'll get back to that. So we went on holiday, we were like, right, let's go to SF and let's go to Huntington Beach and stay with Brian Sumner, because we knew he was there and I knew him and Ollie knew him. So we got to SF, we spent a few weeks just kind of skating about, bumping into people. And then one day we're skating down Geary Street, which is where our hotel is, and that kind of led to where Union Square was. And a van pulls around in front of us, and it's like it's Joe Brook, it's Antony Claravall, the filmer. Dan is in there. And it's like Rodrigo texts when he was first in SF, so he couldn't speak any English, and his mate. And they were like, guys, like, good to see you. And Joe was like, we're going to be. Yeah, I know. We're going to be skating, so like try and roll with us, like. And I was like, okay, cool. So I eventually called Joe, and I started hanging with those guys a bit. Yeah, Ollie and them coming along sometimes, but other times there would be no space, so I would just kind of bail out with them. But it was a real busy time in SF. Like a lot of stuff was going down at that point in time. Like I remember, like one day we were at like Pier 7, for example, and like Dill was there filming for photosynthesis. Yeah. And he did like the manual, fakie manual. Yeah. And we saw that go down. And I remember like at that time just being like, why is he thinking of that trick? Like, look at his gear. Like, what's going on? Yeah.
It's one of my favourite manual combinations, the Manny revert. I actually filmed one at the weekend.
Yeah, it's so good. It's a hard move.
Yeah.
Like we also like showed up one day at Hubba to meet those guys, and like the battle between Danny, what's his fucking surname? Nollie flip nose slide. What's his surname?
Danny Cerasi.
No. Habitat. Danny Garcia. But anyway, him and Rodrigo were going at it. Like Rodrigo went there to do a nollie flip nose slide. He was already there trying a nollie flip nose slide. So Rodrigo switched to a nollie heel flip nose slide, and both of those went down that day.
Hang on a minute. We need to talk about sponsoring this episode of the Brain Drain Show. Toby, take it away.
Today's episode is sponsored by You.
You is a supernatural, delicious sparkling water with full fruit flavour. 0 sugar, 0 sweetener, no calories, and nothing artificial. The brand is built on a radical simplicity. Sparkling water, fruit extract, and nothing else.
You is a great way to stay hydrated during the session. Comes in 3 different flavours. Crispy apple, my favourite here. Zesty lemon and pink rhubarb. All with 0 sugar, 0 sweetener, 0 calories, and nothing artificial.
Toby, let's crack one of these bad bitches open and get back to the show right now.
ASMR.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, it was kind of like a get in the van situation, but I didn't that day. Like, we went to Forde in Army skating. And then I went back, and the following day or a couple of days later, I called Joe to catch up with them. And I went off, I left Cy and Ollie in town, and I went off to, they invited me to Santa Rosa with them. It was like, it was Danny Rodrigo. We were going over there to meet Louis Barletta and that crew. And we skated all like the usual spots, like that white ledge over the gap, you know, the one, that out ledge. It's like
in Santa Rosa.
In Santa Rosa, yeah. So we got to Santa Rosa. We
Oh
skated that.
yeah, the one, I know
Yeah.
yeah.
So we spent a bit of time there, and we hit a couple of other schoolyards with Louis and that, and then we ended the day at this spot, this like tight kicker, and I guess like Danny and I skated it for a few hours, and that was it. You know, I did the frontside flip. Danny did like a kickflip melon, I believe, and yeah, we went and got a Mongolian grill and went back to San Francisco.
Didn't think any more of it.
Didn't think any more of it. I didn't find out about that until I got back to the UK, getting the cover of the mag.
We'll have a little look at it.
I mean, it's obviously with Slap being no more, getting a cover on Slap is like...
Oh, it's the dream, isn't it?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. Got the busted up hand there. Look at those Converse. They're incredible.
They were good, though, the samples. They were odd shoes, though. You can't tell on there, but they were different, each shoe.
What, different model?
No, it's like they were different samples. So one was different to the other.
One of them looks like he's got a thicker sole.
Yeah.
Compared to the other.
So yeah, you got the cover. You didn't? Did you go and shoot any more with Joe when you were over there?
We went out maybe one more time, and then Mark Channer showed up and was hanging out with him a lot. I kind of, after that day and maybe one consecutive, like I kind of stuck around Olly and Sai, and we just skated together a lot. But I know that Channer went out because he showed up and ended up staying in the same hotel as us.
Massive honour.
So
how
I think this is what really changed it. Like before, like, you know, I feel like that changed my path in skateboarding for sure.
So you came back from SF.
Well, actually, I was still in SF for a bit, like, because we stayed on. Like, I have another funny story actually, like, because like me, Olly, Pepelo, and Aussie Ben were all sharing this one bedroom for like a month.
Yeah.
In SF, and there was one double bed, and we just rotated. So like 2 would be sleeping on the bed, 2 would be sleeping on the floor in sleeping bags, and we did that every single night. And then Channer showed up, and he was staying there too. So he had another room. So there was a group of us there. But I remember one night Pepelo showed up to the room, like pissing himself, laughing, and I'm like, what the fuck? And like in follows like Lenny Kirk.
Oh, fucking yes. I love any Lenny Kirk
And
story.
Sai was like bugging out because Lenny was just cruising around in like driving gloves.
Right.
So Pepper had him in the corner of the room, like taking photos of him, like laughing, like fucking blah, 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 bantering. But then after that, like every day, because they would come and smoke, like he would come and smoke weed in our room. But he'd come with LeVar McBride every single day. I remember one day, particularly like we're all lay on the bed and we're just like, fuck, these dudes are here. Like it's really uncomfortable. Like this guy's off his fucking mind. And was
that he was slipping into
he was
Christianity?
He was in the Christianity zone. So like we were watching TV and Jerry Springer was on, and he was like, comes in, he puts his bag on top of the TV and sits down. Him and LeVar are like rolling a joint together, and Lenny Cooks just starts reading off like some Bible speeches, and he's like, these guys just need Jesus in their lives. And like LeVar's just there like pissing himself, and he's like, dude, like you just stole that bag off an old lady in the street, and you're telling us that these people need Jesus in their lives?
So he'd gone full crackers at that point.
Full crackers at that point.
And then when was it around that time we go getting your first pro board for Bomber?
We ended up going, like I said at the beginning, the idea was to go to SF, then go to LA, and stay with Brian and all those guys. It was at the time when Huntington Beach was popping off. Everybody was there. Warner House was there. Geoff was living there. Arto was there. So, and because Olly, you know, going to university in Liverpool, he was close to all those dudes.
Did you ever run into Louis out there, Louis Slater?
No, it was after that. It was like so we got the Greyhound over to LA. It was like me, Channer, and Peplo and Toddy. So we kind of like got the coach overnight, landed at the skate park, and then waited like most of the day for Brian to show up. But we ended up being in Huntington Beach for like a further like month. What I did in Sai. Ollie stayed longer. So yeah, I'm losing myself a little bit. So yeah, we stayed out there, and then Frank decided he was going to come out too because he wanted to come and skate in the US just to see what it was like. And Frank came with 4 of those boards for me. Like I knew I was turning pro, but I hadn't seen the graphic or anything like that.
So it was discussed and dropped beforehand.
Yeah. I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't see the board or anything like that. Like I chose the shape and that, but like I hadn't seen the graphic or anything like that. So that was then. Like I'd literally only just turned 21 at this time.
What was it like getting your pro board, seeing it first time?
I'm being really stoked.
Yeah.
But I think those 4 were the only 4 I had.
Right.
After that, like the board sold out and there wasn't any more made.
Yeah.
So by the time I got back to the UK, there wasn't any boards. Any of my boards left.
So how did you manage to get that one then? Did you just kept that one
Just
back?
kept that one, yeah.
So that's one of the OGs that came over with Frank.
Yeah.
Told you there's 250 quid with your name on it if you want to hand that board
You
over
ain't
to
having
us.
it, mate. You don't want that one anyway. It's that one.
I'll have them both. Do a deal. So was in Headcleaner, was there any footage in that from the States?
No.
It was all.
None.
And was you filming with anyone in the States? Is there any appearances?
We filmed some stuff. We were filming with Antony Claravall a bit for 411.
Rad.
And then, yeah, I had a funny day actually where I ended up like going out with Geoff and Arto, just us 2. And then remember Monster magazine, the German magazine?
Yeah.
Like I guess I knew the dude from Monster from just, I don't know, Unabomber or whatever. So he wanted to shoot myself and Geoff and Arto. So like I had a session with those guys. And I remember like being at a schoolyard trying to film like a line with Geoff whilst Arto was watching me for the whole day. And it was like trying to hit this handrail at the end. Honestly, it crushed me.
I think it was in the Shipman episode, wasn't it? He said he went out there and he was skating with Geoff and Penny. And he said seeing how those guys were skating out there since they'd been living in America, he was just like, I'm not there. He's like, those guys were apparently
Woody
just...
mentioned it as well.
That was it, yeah, Woody, I think. He was just like, because they
Just
were wanting
another
Woody
level,
to jump
wasn't it?
down
Yeah.
stuff, and he was just like, seeing how those guys were operating at that time.
Yeah.
I can imagine at that point, because that would have been... So when did Arto go out to the US? Probably 98, 99.
Yeah.
So
Well, this is 99. Yeah.
So he'd probably settling in. And,
My nose just got me. I was like, why do you want to film a line of me?
yeah.
Like, what's the purpose in this?
Did you see Geoff and Arto just, putting it down?
Yeah, when we went and skated, like, I think it might have been that same day. We went to some school, like, just warming up, skating a ledge.
Yeah.
And, like, Geoff just Mach 10, like, front blunts all along this ledge.
Yeah.
Like, so powerful. Like, even just this flat ground, like, just varial heels and stuff. Just, I don't know.
Yeah, another level, isn't it?
Pure,
It's just,
pure Geoff.
yeah.
And did you say what came out of that footage with Claravall was like the 411?
Yeah, I had a
Wheels of
couple.
Fortune?
We all had a couple. No, we did. I did a Wheel of Fortune with Mike, and that came out. So that was filmed in Bristol. But we just all filmed stuff like and got clips for 411 around that time.
What year was Baines out there? Would that have been a similar
That was
time?
19. That would have been 98. He was still young.
Because I think he had a Wheels of Fortune in America
did,
as
yeah.
well.
Yeah,
and someone else
yeah.
is narrating it, aren't they?
He was on New Deal at that time as
Yeah.
well, I think, wasn't he?
Because in the 411, it's listed sponsors, and then the fella narrating it says footwear, anything you can get at the time.
I think because Sai and I, because Sai ended up seeing this girl, and she was living in Warner Avenue, and Ollie went and stayed with Jeff's friend Clifford near the skate park, and Sai and I ended up over at Warner Avenue because Sai was just seeing some girl that lived in the block, and she knew all those dudes, so we would end up at the house. And I remember Sai buying a load of Baines' old shit from like a box in the house, like secondhand, that he'd left behind like 2 years before or something funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, from there, like, I guess I ended up just jumping in a car with a bunch of dudes. Me and Sai, we left. We had Jeff's apartment for a little bit, and Geoff came back, so we had to leave. And then that's when we ended up over at Warner. And then Sai and I ended up just jumping in a car over to Arizona with Matt Milligan and Scott Kopelman. Remember this guy from Zero, and his friend Ryan. So we went from there to Arizona, and ended up staying out there for the last month of our stay.
Yeah.
Which was cool. I mean, I filmed a bunch out there with the guys from like Cowtown Skate Shop, Tempeh, I think it is the place. But I just we hung out with Scott and the local dudes and did that for like the last month of the stay. But like I went out there like excited. I was like, yeah, I'm going to skate loads. It's going to be sick. And then I got there and Scott was like, well, I've got warrants. Like I can't go street skating.
Oh no.
So we kind of had to link it up, and we could only really go and skate the parks. So it ended up that we would just go to house parties more than like skating at that point. But
and that was over because you can only stay for 3 months, can't you?
Yeah.
Did you make any money there, or did you just save and beans and toast it basically?
It was like the money off Converse, and I had a credit card,
Yeah.
and that was how I basically funded it.
Yeah.
But like it was like the classic story, like met a girl, ended up trying to stay over there and get a green card, like, you know, do the ropey marriage, get a green card, move to SF. That was the plan. So the girl that I met was living, her parents were from San Jose. So it was Santa Rosa. So we drove back. I left Si out there because we kind of had a bit of a back and forth, because I borrowed Baines's old shoes to go to the skate shop to buy some new shoes because my shoes I was holding, and he was like accusing me of skating in them. So we didn't speak the latter end of that Arizona trip. He went off and hung out with all these piss drunk dudes, and I didn't see him. I bounced back with this girl that I met through to Huntington Beach to find Toddy and pick him up. So we arrive at Huntington Beach at the park. And I'm like, fuck, like I know this dude's Clifford's house is like right here. It's right here. And as we're trying to get it together, like Jimmy Boy skates past. The first person I see in Huntington Beach.
He's one of those people, isn't he? Like when we've asked him to come on the podcast, he's like, yeah, when I'm in the area, and it's like, Jimmy, you are in every area all the time. You cannot be pinned down. So what? He must have been just skating down Geoff, right?
Yeah, he was actually staying at the same house that Toddy was at. Like, it's so random.
Yeah.
So he took us round. I picked up Toddy, and we were like a 2-car convoy at that point, because, you know, the girl Julia who I was seeing, she had a couple of friends with her, and my friend Mike, whose house I'd been staying at in Arizona, was with us, and then Toddy jumped in too, and we drove down through San Diego, like had like a bonfire and a session with the Paez brothers one night at their park, and then made it back down to Santa Rosa. And Toddy and I were there for like a week, staying at Julia's house, like skating the park, went to a couple of gigs. And then it just came to the last day, and I was like, you know what, Julia, I'm just going to go home, because if I stay here, like I'd run out of boards. I had no shoes. The credit card was empty. The Converse money wasn't going to do it. And I feel like that was on its way out. So I came back to the UK at that point.
How did she take that?
Terribly.
Yeah.
Terribly. But it's just one of those things, you know, it's just one of those things, isn't it?
It's really, really, really hard, like, especially now, so I don't know how it was then, but like to try and get into the States and to stay there for longer. It's so fucking hard. Like every time I go over there, I'm like, this is where I want to be. Yeah. And you talk to people and you're like, I'll marry this girl or this dude, or if I get this job here, and then it's like, but then your employees have to spend £6,000 just to get your applications. It's so difficult to stay over there.
I didn't even look that deep, to be honest. Yeah. We were just trying to figure it out. And I was like, well, I'm not going to overstay my welcome, because if anything happens, then I can never come back.
Yeah, or at least
I get kicked out and I can never come out. Yeah, you know, it could have like adverse effects if I ever want to come back again in the future. So I just went home. And this is before that came out. So go back home, go back to Worcester. Converse deal ends. I'm, you know, a couple of £1,000 in debt. I'm suddenly stuck in Worcester with no money.
Are you not getting board royalties? Because you said your board.
How no?
Your board had sold out.
I mean, by the looks of it, there was only 20 made. Right. No, there probably would have been like 100, right? But we never saw any money at Bomber for anything over that time, which I think got really frustrating, because Pete was able to have a living, and we as the skate team were like, well, why can't we've got no money? Pete
was doing the whole art direction, creative director role with that at that point, wasn't he?
And I know as a grown-up now, there's a reason that he had money. But when you're that age and you're bullheaded and all you can see is what's going on in your world, you immediately be like, oh, well, I need money too.
Yeah, where's ours?
Yeah.
So sorry, you came back, $2,000 in debt, no boards.
No boards. The Converse thing went, so no shoes. It was looking pretty bleak.
Yeah.
And like, I think Bomber, like the product, there was loads of faulty boards. Like
Yeah.
there was nothing, the team was in disparity. There was no filmer. Like I said, whoever had a video camera was filming at the time. So it just, that shit started petering out. And I think like we got back into April and I filmed a bit through the summer. I think I broke my foot maybe and I couldn't really skate for a little bit. But like it was just further disparity. Like Robbo had left. So it was just Pete man in the fort. And I was just like, it got to a point where I was like, well, what am I doing? Like I'm meant to be at this point, I'm meant to be a professional skateboarder. I have to take boards from the skate shop. So when my boxes come, I have to replace all the boards.
Yeah, you're in debt.
But then the boards that come are faulty or warped or printed upside down or something weird. Like I felt ashamed to like, so I just got to a point where I was like, well, this isn't working out. And I remember like sitting down and talking to my mum, and it was around the time that this came out. And I remember being so stoked. I was like, this is insane. I've got the cover of American magazine. But
It's fucking massive, yeah.
At that time, yeah.
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 And
big deal.
my world in skateboarding was kind of crumbling a little bit. I was just a bit like, well, all of this, all the work that I've done isn't really amounting to anything right now. So I skated through the summer, and I think it got to like September. And I was talking to my mom the whole time. Like, I was back in Worcester. I was literally living back at my mom's house.
Yeah.
I was back to square one, basically. And I was like, I don't know about this. Like, I was like, I felt really tied to Unabomber. I felt like I should like stick with it, but it wasn't working out. I was actually really bummed on skateboarding, full stop. So I spoke to my mom. We had a conversation, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to go back and like try and become a graphic designer, which is what I was going to do originally. Yeah. Before I started getting sponsored for skating. So, I had a couple of calls with Pete, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to stick around. And I think a few times he taught me around, and I was only 22 at this point. Again, like I'm still not very old. And I'm really grateful for what Bomber had done for me, but I was like, this is the end,
Yeah.
And I remember I just having a few weeks of trying to figure it out and talking to Pete back and forth. And then one morning, like, woke up at like 7 in the morning and like just called him immediately and was like, that's it.
I'm done.
I'm going back to school. I'm just gonna try and do something else. And bear in mind, like, it was the time that Waiting for the Wall came out. And I'd been to Sheffield to watch the premiere. And when I watched that, and I was looking at what footage I was sat on for Headcleaner, I was just like, I'm not stoked on this. And none of it's filmed on that. This is all VX. It looks banging. These guys are like at the top of the game.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I could see what being a skateboarder in Europe could actually really be, being in the right position. And at Bomber, that's no one's fault. I just think that shit was beginning to fall on hard times at that time. And the fact that we didn't have a filmer, someone that you can consistently go to make sure that your footage looks the same. And
filmed well.
Yeah.
With the latest gear.
And I just,
the VX
and it was all just kind of, to me, it was all just bitty. And there was some good stuff in there, but I was like, this is not going to look the way I would like it now, seeing this and being in the States and being in Formula 1 and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I quit. I knocked it on the head. And I was still like hanging out with Toddy and that, because he was like Olly Todd. He was still in Worcester, and we're just like, I just got on with it. I was skating the rest of the summer out and trying to start school in a new year. I'd managed to kind of start looking at something that I could potentially get into. Remember one day particularly, we were like watching Waiting for the Wall, sat in my living room, about to go skate, and then the phone rings, and I'm literally watching like Shier, and Shire's on the end of the phone.
Fuck.
Because I was skating for Octagon actually as well. So like I was dealing. So
you already had that link.
Yeah, I was dealing with Alvin and that, and those guys obviously had a contact for me. But it was Shier on the end of the phone. He was all right, Shier mate.
All right, mate, Shier.
Heard you left the Unabomber, mate. And I was just like, yeah. And he was just like, well, I want to skate for Blueprint then. And I'm like, oh fuck, okay. Like
that quick.
It was like a week later. I think internally at Bomber, like for a while, there was this like discussions that like I'd switched and I was running for the money, and it really wasn't any of that.
Yeah.
Really wasn't.
I guess they probably saw like, Bomber was, like you were saying, it was kind of, the spark had kind of gone there for a lot of people on the team. And you were on Octagon.
Yeah.
Octagon
things like that.
But prior to that, actually, I'd got on America too, because I'd been on a tour. I'd been on a tour actually with the US guys. They came to the UK and they put me on the tour. I wasn't actually skating for them at the time.
Right.
And I remember, and like I think on that trip was when I tray flipped Dynamic Earth. And I was like, at that point in time, I was like, that's the best of what I can do here. You know what I mean? So there was like bits going on, but it wasn't enough to keep me. It was like, I'm not going to, I can't make a living out of this. So I'm going to bounce and then quit, shy calls. And it goes from there really. But I had to turn pro again.
So did you had to put in the work again to almost?
Somewhat, yeah.
Because I always thought, and not afraid to admit it, like I thought this later in life, but then obviously it's just the American market. If you're pro for one and go to another, you go on pro immediately. Whereas the UK, it's like, it's not the same.
No, it wasn't the same.
Well, Blueprint always had the standard was really high. And especially like when Waiting for the World came out, that kind of really booted English skateboarding
totally
further.
100%. Like having that's something homegrown that you can actually like attach yourself to. And when we started Unabomber, that was like what I was really stoked on about it, is it's something homegrown that is obtainable for a skateboarder to be part of.
So shy calls.
You want
to ride for Blueprint.
Get a box in the post.
Done.
Go to Radlands, have a session, try the boards out.
What size board were you riding around there?
It was so funny because I was riding like 8.5 board. Like I was riding these Arto boards that I was getting from this guy, Chris Bork. He had a skate shop in Worcester, the artist, And I would go in there and like they had these Arto boards at the time, and I would take the one and then he would order another one, and I'd end up having to take the other. And I remember like feeling so lame, but I was just skating this like 8.5, really long.
That's kind of
Arto
rare
board.
at that point to have a board that wide.
Yeah. And then the boards that came in the post were these really short 7.5 Cole Shipman boards. And as much as I was so stoked to be on the same team as Cole Shipman, I was like, these boards are fucking minuscule. Like, what am I going to do with this? I mean, I got used to them. There was a 7.75.
So it wasn't a case of they just got you some wider ones. You had to get used to.
No, they would not give me a wider.
It's what they had in stock and deal with it.
Not, even when my boards came out.
Was that maybe an element there of McGee kind of guiding you to what he wants people to be riding within the videos?
I don't know, because apparently the reason why they wanted to put me on was to get that heroin chic, like have someone that's like different to those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I was sort of thinking about this before, because Blueprint had that very kind of defined like look and how it all was, and you were different to those guys.
Yeah, but I could somewhat see a tenuous link between myself and Rattray into the rest.
Yeah, so you're more on that kind of sort of ATV, whereas those guys were, I know they can skate everything, but especially like Shier and Baines.
Oh, Vaughan was the long-haired musher. Let's just get straight to the point. His parts are mush as hell.
The other guys were very, tech, street, flippy.
Yeah.
And, obviously you can do all that, but your sort of avenue there, along with Rattray, it's like, it sort of introduced this different kind of dynamic to Blueprint.
Yeah.
So it was good, It's certainly like, because Blueprint, everyone respected Blueprint, and especially that video and, what was going on. But it wasn't necessarily everybody's cup of tea. But I think when Rattray got on, and then it kind of opened it up more. So,
it does, doesn't it? It adds more personality to the...
And it was sort of, it sort of, I don't know, became a bit more broader, the reach of it. So
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it 100% does, yeah.
Yeah, because it honestly, like, it was the last thing I thought was going to happen. I like in my mind, I was like, it would be so after waiting for the water. It would be so sick to skate for Blueprint.
So you go to the premiere and you're like, this is fucking rad.
Yeah.
And then within a matter of like 2 weeks,
months. It was like 2 months or something.
You're on Blueprint.
Yeah.
And it, going from thinking shit is over.
Yeah.
So you get on Blueprint.
And you're
on Emerica
you were
as well now.
tickling with college at that point as well. What went on with that path?
Well, I bailed on college, didn't
So
I?
straight away,
Immediately. I was like, the dream's back.
Yeah.
Like, it's back. Like, I've just got on, like, the best team that I could get
The best
on.
British team.
Yeah,
company.
but then you look at Europe in the time too, you know, like, I think really, like, those guys pioneered so much.
Well, you said before, and I'm adding to it as well, that Blueprint was the first UK company where the Americans also wanted in on it. Was that said in another one? Like,
I think,
and they couldn't get it. It was like, it was so good. I think they wanted to stock it overseas.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting time because it's kind of what you were saying, like your footage that was ready to go into the Bomber video, you know, is all a bit mismatched and stuff like that. And then the VX1 Mark 1 Century lens came out, and that was 4-on-1. All the best videos had that. So Blueprint
On video,
was
all that shit.
Yeah, so Blueprint was the first
UK
brand that came out with a video which, apart from I think a couple of Scott Palmer's tricks, I think were filmed on.
Yeah, there were a couple.
But it was like
It was US standard.
It looks like the US video, so it was kind of. Yeah, it was pivotal, really.
Who was
what
the
was
first
going
person, the first filmer to have the Mark 1?
Over here?
In the US, because I've heard that there was a
It
comp
was,
in the UK and someone whacked it out, the Mark 1. I don't know if you was
Was
at
it
the
Dan
comp,
Wolf?
but you seen it and
Probably
you were like,
would
what
have
the
been.
fuck
Someone
is
like
that?
Dan Wolf saw it.
He found it in a Century magazine, didn't
Yeah,
he?
and
Like,
he ordered it on a whim, and then literally overnight, everyone was going to the Century store in California and getting them. But yeah, I remember going to Sheffield and.
sure, you said you was at a comp and you
so
saw
Olly
one.
Barton was there,
Yeah.
and he pulled out. He had the TRV 900 and the lens, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So I went up to him and I was like, "Really, like, excuse me, what lens is that?" And he just turned around in it.
But even when you still look at that lens to this day, the shape of it, the colour, everything, it just looks
The business.
so fucking
yeah,
good.
it's like
And we talk about it all the time. Like, if I could have a camera that resembles the VX1 with the Mark 1 with a bit more quality and stability of what a camera has now, you'd be set.
Yeah.
But going back to what we were saying, so
Yeah.
at the time, Blueprint, that video really did skyrocket.
Yeah.
But it was also a big fuck you to like to America for basically sleeping on the UK for quite a good few years, you know, and you know McGee and
Shire's parting waiting for the world.
do you know what I mean?
Good.
So it kind of skyrocketed. Anyway, sorry, I waffled.
Every time someone's on and we talk about these videos, I go home and just put them straight on.
Oh, they're timeless.
Well, when I was
Absolutely
pulling
timeless.
this out, like, I have all the VHS. Like,
Yeah. How much? How much you want? How much you
nothing,
want?
mate.
I want
It's
the I
mine.
want the Belong tour. I want the Panic Blueprint
Denied.
videos.
I don't have the Belong tour. I
Anyway,
lost that. Anyway.
so you're on Blueprint.
yeah, and I
Dan McGee is secretly guiding you into riding thinner boards because he doesn't like what the footage looks like on an 8.5-inch board, right?
I don't know. I'm not going to go that deep, but he wouldn't.
Nah.
There was no 8-inch boards. I know that.
Yeah.
And that was the limit.
It was like
So it's-
7.375, 7.5,
Yeah.
7.625,
Yeah.
and then 7.75 was
Yeah.
about as wide as it went with
So
Blueprint.
I had this one box and the boards were a bit too small, but I'd arranged to go to London to meet up because I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
I knew everybody to say hello to, but like not like a personal level, like not even Dan really. Because
Yeah, you just literally seen them in videos that you'd watch.
yeah, or Radlands or
Yeah.
whatever event
In
was
passing
on.
kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and it would always be like, all right, how's it going? But like, it's not like, hey man.
Yeah.
So I go to London and I think I meet with Shannon King,
Another
Colin
one
and
that we want to get on.
Shire,
Hmm.
I believe. Met him at Slam, got a better board, and then that day was the first day that I met the team and I was already filming for first broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
So that day I filmed like the back nollie at London Bridge, nollie front nose at St. Paul's, and then maybe something else. So
With
3
McGee,
tricks.
yeah?
With McGee and Shannon and those guys.
How was it filming with McGee, not knowing him at that point? His first kind of running.
It was chill. Like Dan was being super polite. First day he met me properly.
I don't know why I'm always just trying to dig dirt on McGee, but like,
It's because he's standard within skating. To have that standard and follow through with it for the whole career of Blueprint, you need to have a little bit of sweet and a little bit of
Yeah,
salt to go,
but
a little bit of sour to
I'm not
go
knocking
with
him
it.
at all because look what he did. He created some of the most
Well, he made
iconic...
people step up
Yeah.
and
He
actually start
raised-
filming better.
He raised the bar, not
Yeah.
just with the quality of tricks and type of tricks, but also how it was presented to...
Yeah, the editing,
and,
the songs.
and I mean, to be fair to Dan, like he definitely worked hard to get the best out of us. Like regardless of how that would come across in terms of dealing with him on a day to day, like he definitely like knew like what was there, and he had a vision for everything that he was doing. I think it was when it didn't go his way that it kind of started going it would go a bit tits.
Toby, I
Yes.
know you're enjoying some delicious music right now with great sound audio quality, but you got to tell the listeners who's sponsoring this episode. Take it away.
Today's episode is supported by Skull Candy.
Skull Candy have been making the best quality headphones and accessories for years with a unique design, innovative sound technology, and some of the raddest collaborations out there.
The range is everything from earbuds, over-the-head big lads, wired and wireless models, Bluetooth speakers, and even gaming headsets for the nerds. The sound quality is second to none, and the bass that comes out of the Crusher ANC2 is insane.
It is absolutely
Insane.
And if you want to get 20% off your next purchase, make sure you head to skullcandy.eu and use the code BrainDrain20 at checkout. And Toby, let's listen to some wonderful music. But first,
Back to the show.
Back to the show.
Back to the
Back
show.
to the show.
Back to the show.
Now, Skull Candy.
So how are you officially announced the Blueprint? Was there an ad? I
Well,
can't
that
remember.
ad, it's that ad,
Right,
the backside
okay.
nollie. So Bartok was there and he shot it, and
Yeah.
that was the first ad. But it was funny because like I stayed that weekend, and I think I might have gone home on the Sunday, but I was staying with Seth Curtis in his partner Bev,
Big up, Seth.
and Pete lived there.
Right. Oh,
So
shit.
I was rolling back to the house every night, you know, with my Blueprint board, being out filming all day, and Pete was there.
How did
I mean,
he...
there's no hostility. Like, you know, I did feel bad because I like there was nothing personal between the
Yeah.
people. It was just more I had to like make a
Also-
change for myself.
Also, you had those conversations with him,
Yeah,
several conversations,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you'd cut the ties. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know,
but it you know, it was
it
good.
wasn't like you were still officially on Bomber turning up there
No.
wearing blue.
Turning up
No.
on the Blueprint board.
And we've mentioned Headcleaner like a few times, right? But Headcleaner hadn't come out at that point. Like
Right.
they were still working on that video.
So you had a part in that video when that came out? When you
I was skating for
officially riding
Blueprint, yeah, because I think first broadcast may have come out like maybe 2 months after that. And I remember, and like I think like
I think you got first part in the head.
I have first part in it, and I somewhat like felt bitter about it at the time because, and all love to Frank, but Frank being Frank, he was like, film for this. It's my video. I'm putting him in regardless. And when it came out, I was like, "Are you fucking tripping? I'm in this video. Like, I don't want to be in this. I don't want to be in this video." But I was.
I
And
mean, it's a
am,
great
and
part. I like that part.
I fucking hate it.
Yeah, I hate that part. I fucking hate that part.
It's just another
I
piece of the
do.
story, isn't it? You know,
Yeah,
it's just
but I
these
think
things
at the
happen.
time,
But that's
like,
very rare, though, isn't it?
But it
Yeah.
goes back. It goes back to what I was saying, though. It's like it was like filming for that Headcleaner was so. It just wasn't like a cohesive thing for me. It was
Yeah.
like I'm like 19 with a ponytail with shorts doing kickflip melons, and the next thing I've got like shorter hair and I'm like doing slightly taker tricks, and you know I changed
Did McGee ask you to
throughout
cut
that
your
time. No.
It's interesting as well.
I
Like,
kept
not-
it, but heroin chic, mate. They were down for that. They wanted.
It's interesting as well. And it goes back to the McGee thing and not slating Bomber at that point because I love it. But if you look at the difference in quality filming and editing between the Blueprint video that came out before
Yeah.
Headcleaner, and it's like just the contrast is night and day between like how
Yeah.
polished up and good the Blueprint vids
Yeah,
are.
yeah, and I think that that was part of what was making me not want to be part of it because I wanted to do something that represented me in the light that I wanted to be shown in, and it wasn't working out that way on a Unabomber.
Did anyone approach you, or was there any conversation around like why is he in this video, or did anyone say to you like how come you're in that video, or did it kind of just go under the?
I don't remember. I know there was a bit of shit talking, but you know what? Like I at that time, like we were really deep in working on first broadcast, so my head was there. As much as I was frustrated that I showed up there, I was thankful for Frank for putting his time in and editing the part, of course, and there was no love lost for that, but it was just, yeah, I remember just being a bit like, dude. But yeah, we were head on in that because from that point, really, like my board came back out again.
So how long was it from
Yeah,
getting on to
4 months.
right? So they were
4
pretty
months.
quick with it. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's pretty much. They must have ordered that. It's 3 months turnaround.
Yeah,
did it,
well-
pretty much.
So
Well-
you went pro before first broadcast officially came out.
Because I worked with Dan, like I drew that image on the board and we built that board together. and that kind of became a mainstay. Then I got that, and I was like so stoked because everybody had one of those, and I was like, I have one of those. I'm really in now. Like that's it.
Well, having your name on the board.
Yeah, and I chose the color. Well, no, the B board, like
Yeah,
just
that-
the logo board.
No, I mean, but like you say, like you felt like you were really in then.
Yeah.
but you
Yeah,
already
'cause
had the
that's
pro
like-
board,
I know, but
that's-
like that signifies, isn't it? Because
It's
when
like
you
the-
see
it's like
that
the girl
against
logo
yeah,
boards,
when
isn't
I
it? It's
saw
like-
that against everybody else's, I was like, that's it. Then.
Like complete unity with everyone else's
Yeah.
colours and names on
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But I mean, at that time, Blueprint was from the outside. It looked like it. I mean, it was smashing it.
Yeah, it was great.
Boards were selling.
Selling a lot of boards.
Yeah.
Sold a lot of those things.
How did you? Do you ever know how many of your boards sold?
Not really, but I know that Slam was smashing them. Because
Yeah.
they had the whole wall at one point, and it was all Blueprint boards.
Yeah.
One whole
imagine,
wall.
yeah.
Because they had the two walls.
Yeah.
They had like cliche and whatever, and then some American stuff, and then it was all our stuff on the other wall.
Yeah.
And like if that was like every skate shop doing the same amount, then like it must have been insane. I mean, and like off the back of it, like Joe was able to really look after us, and he
Yeah.
did. Like every Friday, money was in the bank, without fail. For what? Like
Joe Burlow, we're talking about.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
talking about Joe Burlow.
How much money in the bank every Friday?
I'm not telling you that on here.
Oh,
I-
come on.
I mean, these were like we always heard things. I heard it was 400 quid.
No, it wasn't quite that.
Okay, but for a British board brand
Yeah,
to get any money
yeah.
other than a royalty, like that's
Even if
But then-
someone gave me 200 quid every Friday, I'd be fucking buzzing.
Yeah.
Like, I would be buzzing.
But then you think like because I had that and because I got on Blueprint, then I got a contract on America and was on the
This is
European
it.
team,
It
and
opens it
and
up.
at that point, like I was able to afford to travel. If I needed to travel international or get a flight, it was Soltech would pay for it.
yeah.
Amazing.
So and sorry,
I
going
had
back.
enough to get to rent a place, like and
Yeah.
live, like it was banging.
So your connections early on with Pete Turvey,
Continued, yeah.
yeah, because he went over to
He-
A4.
yeah,
Soltech
I
and-
followed Pete wherever he went. Really, that's
Yeah.
like we were super close. I
Yeah,
mean, I
big
haven't
up Tev.
spoken to him for years. Big up Pete, wherever you are in the world. But
He
Come
looked
on the
after a
podcast.
lot of
yeah,
people.
yeah,
He was integral to a lot
he held
of people's
it down
careers.
for me a lot, and he definitely always fought my corner.
Yeah.
So I really thankful for that, for him, for sure.
So you had a bit of
Just,
money coming in from Blueprint,
Yeah.
I was
from
about to say, just
Soltech.
Yeah.
a side tangent there. You said you managed to get a place. Was that still in Worcester?
Yeah, I stayed in Worcester because I quite liked. I would travel to London, so I would go up and see Dan and that, and would stay at Dan's house, like the Cornwall house where Chris Massey lived, and Snowy was staying there, and Brady would be on the couch, and
Fucking big up,
you know
Brady.
we'd go skate every day, film our shit, go back, edit it all together, go to sleep, do the same the next day, and we like I think for filming for first broadcast was maybe 3 months, maybe it was a real fast turnover. I remember that.
I was just about to ask from a little camera geekery side of it. With the VX being taped, did McGee let you like watch the footage back on the tape, or did you wait till later, or did he? Because I've had
We'd
times
sit and
where,
build out the part, you know, like
Oh, so he let you see
we'd be doing
what was going on.
we'd be doing a lot. Like like most mornings, like Dan would be doing like design work and all this. So I'd sit with him, help him with like colouring up the boards, and you know, all the kind of like typeface I worked on at the time, and this image went on a whole bunch of stuff, and so there was that side of it. Then we'd go out in the afternoon, and in the evening get the generators out and just be.
It must have been
be
rad,
nice.
like being that involved and seeing it all come to
totally,
fruition and that.
totally. You know, from a year and a half prior, like you know, everything had changed so much overnight.
Yeah.
And I was with this group of fucking skateboarders that were fucking on it.
that
you
people
know?
still look up to this
Yeah,
day.
I mean, Colin, like I spent a lot of time with Colin filming for that. Like we went to Scotland and all that, and like he had like been coming back from an injury and kind of not skating as much, and like I'd be mind blown at how good like he could be on days. Jensen too, Shire when he was really fire. Yeah, it was sick. It was such a time.
Did I hear a story once that McGee took a generator on a plane to another country?
I think like he had this mini rig, like this little red one that would like it would just wouldn't last as long because the gas was less. But yeah, we used to take it with us to all the trips.
It's fucking insane now, isn't it? Like even I didn't experience that, because now if I wanted to go that deep into it and take a light somewhere, you just get a light that we got here and on an LED that lasts for 6
totally.
hours. Imagine taking
have
a
LEDs
generator
then.
and being like,
The Jenny, I like the Jenny because
That noise
London
of
would
the
be,
generator
yeah,
in
but
the
it would be
back.
chaos in the day at some spots. So you could just
switch off and just focus on what
yeah,
we need to get
yeah,
done.
and no one be about because you're
And
out
it
late
looks
at
sick
night.
as well, night footage. It's just
Yeah.
another step of making the videos
Yeah.
sort of mirror what was the
Totally.
gnarliest shit that was happening on American videos.
That's one thing that I'd not noticed. You know, like hearing a generator in the background on nighttime footage is one thing that you just
Yeah.
never. That's quite
totally.
a nostalgic thing,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
But London at that time was amazing too. The amount of people skating, you know, like the meetups at Slam and the sessions at Vicky Benches, places, Shell Centre, places like that. Like they're timeless in my mind compared to today.
A little offshoot question, because we do want to get him on. It's just we're busy and finding time. Did you ever skate with Ben Jobe or have any Ben Jobe interactions?
I hung out with Ben a bunch,
the
but
mystique
I
of
wasn't
Ben?
I wasn't there that night when he filmed all that shit. But I remember watching it afterwards and just being mind blown.
In
like,
those
kick backside,
trackies,
yeah,
like-
backside flip over the bank, like over the bar into the bank, and like backside nollie flip and the frontside 180 fakie nose grind, just Mach 10, all of them. It's amazing.
We heard a story that he like everyone was at South Bank and it was dark and he hadn't been there all day, and then he just turns up, grinds the outledge and just skates off. He was just on his way.
Yeah, that
somewhere.
wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me. Actually, like at the beginning when he's like slamming and he's doing like the kung fu,
the
I
kung
was there
fu.
that day.
Yeah.
Because me and Nick were skating the stairs with him that day. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, we randomly bumped into him in Swansea, didn't we?
Yeah, there was him and Dainton stood next to each other and they looked at each other and Dainton went, "You look like Ben Jobe," and then Ben Jobe went, "You look like Dainton," and I was in the middle of them just like,
Yeah.
"Yes, you are both.
Piece it together, lads.
You are both correct. Come on, think of it." So how was it around that time then? So you said that you wanted the imagery of Blueprint, the videos and stuff, but how was it actually being involved in it and then meeting that standard? Did McGee ever like film a line and he was like, "Do this again"?
Yeah, of
Or-
course.
Yeah.
I mean, to
But
be
that's
honest,
how the videos turned out to be the way they did.
yeah. And I really hurt myself filming for that part. Like, it was by no means finished in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I was just warming up because I'd filmed the backside nollie flip. I was like, had all these like other tricks that I had lined up, and I was like, we were out one night skating the rail at Moorgate, and I did the front nose, and then Dan was like, "Can you refilm that?" And I just blew my ankle to pieces. And was
What do you do? Like slip out of it and crush?
to this day, I don't know, because to me, it felt like I was landing on my feet. It was just a bail and I was landing on my feet, but my ankle just was gone. Like, I don't know what happened.
So what had you done to it? Broken it? Or?
I dislocated it and like busted all the ligaments up. And I think like that injury, like it took me like 2.5 years to get back from, because it kind of got better after like a year. And then we were in Canada, like I went to some like Slam City jams with Dan and Rattray.
They look like they used to be amazing.
They were
Slam
fun,
City,
yeah.
Slam City jams.
And I remember I was like stretching to like jump down some. We'd go street skating in between. I remember stretching to jump down this like this big four set, and I was like doing my like calf, and I just felt like a ping in my ankle, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Trying to skate the contest the rest of the week, I couldn't. Like, I was trying to do a tray flip. I was just in agony, and it so happened that like whatever was left holding my ankle together just went. So I then had to go and have surgery on it. But
you probably had like one little elastic
like
band
thread,
size
yeah.
thing that was just there.
But it was crazy because I mean, yeah, it took me so long to get better, but then yeah, it just went that easily. I felt good. I was going, and then it was gone.
So that was around the time filming for first broadcast.
Well, yeah, I mean the ankle injury, not the surgery.
And where did Lost and Found come into play?
Well, obviously all of that came out, first broadcast, last part, whatever, banging, stoked.
Did you know you were going to have the last part in that? You said that you saw the part being edited, but did McGee give any insight to like this is going to be?
I don't know. I can't remember. Like, this is what I will say though, Dan, is that I chose my own part, mate, my music, mate. You know what I mean? I chose my own music for that one, and the other one.
He has a vision.
Yeah, his vision is not remembering. I had to sit out like the beginning of them filming Then for Lost and Found, actually. Yeah. So
another video that comes up all the time,
yeah.
just for the fact that there was so much like Dan's so ruthless, and there's so much good footage cut out that you've essentially got the bonus disc, which is another full-length video, which that bonus disc is better than full-length videos now, which are their main videos, which is fucking insane.
But I think like I was on the bench when they started that, and that's when like Smithy showed up and Chewy showed up, and I remember seeing their footage, and the first stuff that they filmed for that video was already so good. And then Grove, of course, came along because he was kind of like my little brother at that point. Because, yeah, I mean, his dad lived in Malvern, so he would always be in Worcester with me. So naturally, he came on board. Fisher was there too. Yeah, suddenly the roster was a lot bigger.
So did Grove do it the opposite way then? Did you go from
Bomber.
Blueprint to Bomber?
Yeah, Blueprint to Bomber. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a good 4 years in the mix, that video. But I sat out for half of it, so like I don't know, like I had a lot of footage in the end, but it was a struggle. But I think at one point after the ankle surgery I felt so good on my board that it seemed that for a good month or two just got loads of shit and then back on the bench again, I think.
Yeah. So around that time you said you were skating for Emerica. How long was you on America for, and when did the pro shoes come out, and how much input did you have into designing these pro shoes behind you? And which was the first one?
The brown one this side.
Had that shoe, and I've already mentioned it off camera.
Yeah.
Had that shoe.
Yeah, had that shoe.
Yeah, good shoe.
How
much?
No, you're not having it. It came later, actually, after Lost and Found, because what happened was that I tore my ACL. After the video was finished, like maybe like a week or two after the video was finished, like we were going to go on to the next one immediately, as we did. We just never stopped, and I tore my ACL. So to help me get my surgery and get me fixed, we worked on this shoe. It was like a kind of like a freeway thing. It was like Tom Henshaw, who's a lad from Manchester, Tom and Dan, the twins, and Dan and myself. So I came up with the idea for that, and the idea was the royalties would pay for my knee surgery, which in the end it kind of did double, in fact, crazily enough. But my mom had like a jewelry box at her house, and like the embellishments on the back, the silver, that was on the box, and we kind of reworked it to be like Blueprint, a little like personal thing for myself.
Can I grab that shoe to have another look at it, and then I can just flash it to the camera a bit more as well?
So it did really well then?
I think it did, yeah. But at the time I was skating Reynolds shoes a lot. And like I had this idea of like how all the paneling could be different materials.
Was that a part of the jewelry box?
Yeah, no, we just put that on to like add all these bits to it. But it was like a real honor, man. Like I think I was like the first European skateboarder on Soltec to get like a colorway of that sort.
I was saying before we started to Sean, I feel like within skateboarding itself, getting a pro shoe is like one of the highest honors to have, because you know everyone's got a board, but then when the shoe comes out, it's like, because God knows how many pairs of those shoes they have to produce.
Yeah, totally.
And then sell at 60 or so.
I think this, like both of those went, like they sold globally, I believe. Like I know that was definitely inactive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense that the royalties were pretty fucking good at the time.
So it helped with your knee surgery.
Yeah.
Which is what you needed it to. And then you had a bit of spare change to do bits and bobs.
Be down the pub, mate. Generally, because I weren't skating. Like
Yeah.
I was training.
Like, so if you were recovering from surgery and stuff like that, you're still getting paid. Joe Burlow's still paying that money.
Yeah.
Still in contact with the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Just drinking?
Sat at home.
Going to the pub?
I was actually with both the ankle and the knee. I mean, the ankle more so. I was like really strict. I like didn't leave my house for 8 weeks because that's what they told me I couldn't do, and then I wasn't really drinking very much. I think I didn't drink for almost the whole time that I was recovering. But with that, it was with the knee, it was a bit different. Just because I was bored. I was actually living in London at the time as well.
And that was a major knee reconstruction, wasn't it, when you did your...
Yeah, it was full ACL, meniscus fix. But yeah, and I mean, I was living in London with a partner, and we broke up actually. So I ended up back in Worcester by the time I got the money. So being in Worcester on like a breakup, I was just like, I can't skate. Got loads of fucking money in the bank. I'm going to get a tab at the pub and just sit in there.
Yeah.
That's generally what happened
Yeah.
for a while. But then that money got better and I started skating again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we pretty much went into working on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And did that one do okay as well?
That one did all right. There was like apparel and stuff with that one.
Yeah.
But I think even at the time, like when that came out, I don't think I was really skating a lot. Like I definitely like had like elbow dislocation around that time too. So
Oh, shit.
trying to get back from the knee, then I hurt my
Keep
elbow.
fucking yourself up.
Then 6 months later, I do the elbow again, and it was pretty hard to like. Everybody on the team were like stacking for like make friends for Colour Blue, and again the team was changing again because all these US guys had got on and they were trying to play out there, you know, and behind the scenes, you know, skateboarding was taking a dip, right? So.
So were you savvy to what was going on with Blueprint and, you know, what essentially...
Not really.
ended it?
I think around that time, like, yeah, that shoe came out 2 years afterwards. And like that time I was like trying to get better and then having another injury and trying to get better.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to kind of like bridge the gap to like get to where I was and then excel again. I was going through a bunch of personal shit that I was trying to figure out. And I just don't think I really, it just didn't really start working. Like it didn't start working again, really, actually. Like, and the brand was taking a downturn. So Dan, like at that time was like, we can't pay you anymore. And I'm like, cool, I get it. He's like, but I'll make sure you get a board out so that you can keep all your other contracts going and whatever.
That's rad.
But it wasn't rad because he didn't, when the next drop of boards came out, there wasn't a board.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, right, well, and then the contracts all stopped. And I was like, well, you're doing all these trips. I'm feeling a bit better. I'm trying to get my head around, like, getting back into the game. I feel like the brand's moved on. I feel like I'm not going to get back to the point where I was. You stopped paying me. You broke your promise. I'm done. I'm out. Like, there's no point anymore.
So there wasn't... I guess you didn't have any time or a chance to film anything.
I had footage. I had footage. But then Dan wasn't really into a lot of the other stuff I filmed later on. I get it. I chopped all my hair off. Looked a bit different. But I was so away from skating because I just wasn't there. Like, you know, my injuries were a lot, and I was going through a lot personally. And I was just like, I've got shit that I need to take care of outside of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just went and just got a job.
Where did you start working?
I started working at I did like a few like campaigns for Habitat, like set building and stuff with my mates.
Okay.
Howard Cook was another dude that was actually on set with me all the time.
Nice.
And then I like started working at like catering.
Yeah.
Did that for like a few years. Wound up working for like Rough Trade in their coffee shop, managing. I was like a barista for a while. But it was around this time, like I'd moved to Brixton, and with like Jagger and a few other people, like a few people that worked at PlayStation skate park, and I would do my like part-time shifts and then be at Stockwell skating. And my friend Benbo Dilly was distributing Kr3w and Supra in the UK at the time.
Always comes up on the podcast. Benbo Diddley.
Yeah, Benbo Diddley. And he had Kr3w and Supra in the UK at the time. And we got talking because his partner Kyle worked in Rough Trade and he knew that I was like skating loads. So we got talking. He was like, look, I'll start flowing you some bits of Kr3w and Supra and, you know, see how it goes. So I'm like, dope. Okay, let's do that. So then I kind of started meeting the guys from Supra a lot. My girlfriend at the time ran the store underneath Slam that they had. So I got in the mix with the owner and the CEO and Dennis, the team manager at the time. And I'm like, cool, I'll skate for these guys. I'll start again. And it was around this time I got a board on the Harmony too and joined them. But then lo and behold, I tore my ACL again.
Fuck's sake.
So I was like, this time I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to try and get it fixed and get back and try and do this again. But the surgery was like complicated. It took like 3 or 4 tries to get the new ligament in, which was like another 2 years. Surgery 3 months 2 weeks off it, stood on my leg in rough trade serving coffee with a huge knee brace on. So like it didn't take as good as it should have done. So at that point I was like, right, well that is actually it. But I got talking to Dennis, and I'd been on like a tour with them, like a signing tour with like Tom and Lizard and Ali when they got out of prison. And it just ended up that they needed someone to work for them, like in marketing, team manager. So I like just stepped into that role for Kr3w Supra.
Kr3w Supra was really fucking good at that time as well.
Yeah, it was rad. Like
Crew K-Slims, the Slash, slip-on shoes.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a good time.
Yeah, it was a good time. And I think like even getting like the opportunity to potentially have skated for that was insane to me, because they were all my heroes on that fucking team. You know, Ellington, Tom, Ali, like Lizard.
What year would that have been? So that's
this was around when I started working with 2013, I believe.
Yeah. So when I met you 2014, I think you was in Barca for quite a while. Did you like move there for anything or?
Yeah, so I started getting it going. Like the first job I had was to like, in my mind, was to like make sure that we'd started building out a European team. But then start putting on dudes that I know I could like project up to global. So like for Supra, that was like, obviously I was looking after Tom and Ali, but then I'd signed Lucien, and I'd signed Flo Martin from Cliché, and then for Kr3w it was like Chewy and Lucien, and a couple of others. And we did the first European trip. Like I organized that, got the whole fucking squad over, gnarly as shit. Like those tours were like my main thing every year. But yeah, taking Lucien on that, and then he eventually got on the team after a bunch of them in an then I got Javier Sarmiento on, and he got on the team. Then Oscar Candon, and he got on the team. And so I'd managed to build out this kind of like global presence within Europe for both those brands, which was really good for me, you know. But also at the same time, we were like making these tours, like all the bits you do on the side, like Muska DJ, and after a demo with Tom Penny on the decks too, and like blowing out fucking Berlin, or like, you know, there was a time when we were fitting out size stores with fucking Skytop fucking merch, and
the Skytop was killing it that time.
It was.
They made
was that one of their biggest selling shoes? The
yeah, it was their biggest selling shoe. That's basically what made them what the brand they were.
You know, whenever Javier's name comes up, I always picture, I think it's in a 411, he does the front side flip, and it's like it freezes in the air.
Oh yeah, that
when
one.
he catches
over the hip.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a genius, that guy.
Yeah, he's incredible.
One of the best.
So wild tours fitting out.
Yeah.
Shops and stuff.
Doing the demos. You know, I think the first one we did, like, you know, we flew in Nuremberg, we flew the team in a helicopter and all this shit. Like,
Did you have to book the helicopter?
We got one of our accounts to book the helicopter, but we had a helicopter for the day. It was pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit was on fire at that point.
Yeah, and that first one especially was such a big deal to me, because it was like all those guys were so prolific at the time. Like taking them around Europe and actually successfully getting them through, the first time I'd ever done it, was nuts to me. But I got fucking bullied. Every one of those trips, I got bullied.
Who's the biggest bully? Who's the biggest pro skateboarder bully?
Man, in those groups,
yeah.
Oh God, I don't want to say it, but
We'll cut it out.
Stevie Williams used to bully me a lot on the trips. Lizard started at the beginning, but he chilled out.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were good times. So yeah, going back to Barcelona, like the brand originally were like, their European headquarters was in Biarritz. And then from Biarritz, they moved to Barcelona. Anybody with a European title at that time, like I was working out of London, Shoreditch, but anybody with a European title at that time had to go with the brand to Europe. So I just moved with them, continued what I was doing. We did a bunch more tours. We did a residency in the UK for a month. Feel like, we started working on a colorway for Lucien. Like, you know, we were doing projects with Transworld with Chewy, and we were also like at that point, like it had got to a point where like we were having the American filmer over a bunch to film like Alan Hannon, the primitive guy.
Yeah.
he was coming over a bunch to like have to work on a European skate video.
Right.
But the US guys hadn't got it together enough to like do theirs. So like I was almost getting kiboshed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a new manager and I was just like, damn, like this is too much. Like I've hit a ceiling at this place. Like I can't do anything else. Like I can't elevate Europe anymore. I tried to get a job in the States and there wasn't any room for me. So I was just kind of like hanging on. I was like, okay, cool. Like I'll keep plugging away and see what happens. And then this is like 3.5 years in. And I think like I went to Bright or something and bumped into Shier and Colin. We were having a catch up, a bit drunk. I must have aired that my frustrations. So I went back to Barcelona, forgot about the conversation completely. And then a week later, Colin calls me up and he's like, hey, I was actually out in Berlin, like interviewing, because I'm changing roles and we're going to need someone to come in and look after the team and at Nike and do that. He was like, I know it's a bit of a step back because you're like a marketing manager, you run a lot of shit for these brands, but we think you could potentially be the dude to kind of like step into what I've been doing and build upon that, because I've seen what you've done with, you know, Lucien and Oscar Candon. And I was like, okay, cool. So I took a call with him and Casper van Lierop, and he was the global guy at the time. And they offered me a call that night on the phone, and I just ended up moving to Nike overnight. And that was that. Supra done.
I can remember in 2014 when I was in Spain for a couple of months, we like crossed paths going down like probably near Parallel or something, going down the street, and my mate Sam had flown out to visit me, and we had like a quick talk or something. I think he must have said something like, I'm gonna send you some Kr3w Supra stuff, and you skated off, and then I skated off with my mate Sam, and my mate Sam was like, who was that? I was like, Vaughan Baker, and his like neck snapped so quick watching you skate down the street, and he was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't even realise it was like, it was him without the long hair, and he was so bummed out that like he'd briefly met you but not shared his appreciation for your skating. And that was it. You like came, we spoke, and you went. And for the rest of that trip, we were just like, what the fuck, man? That was Vaughan Baker. And that was just always a story that like when I see him, it like pops up that he was so stoked. But just from watching you from footage and videos, just because you'd cut your hair and you probably had K Slims on and something else that he just he didn't recognise. And then when you left, he was like, fuck. He was super bummed.
At that time when you spoke to Colin and obviously went over to Nike, were you kind of like, because how long after you left Kr3w Supra did it go tits up?
It was only a couple of years.
Yeah, but did you have any kind of inclination that maybe that's what was happening?
I knew that it wasn't doing great.
Yeah.
You know, like we'd been plugging so much money, you know, into, I mean, especially in Europe, trying to build it out. And like not just in the skate side, but on like a lifestyle side. Yeah. You know, that
I mean, those shoes, like we said it earlier, the Sky Top, it was.
Yeah, I mean that shoe had done what all it could do.
Yeah.
And I feel with a lot of things that have like such an up like that life cycle ends up being pretty short due to the fact that you kind of build a castle on one brick, essentially.
All the eggs in one basket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it wasn't really all eggs in one basket, because we tried a lot of other stuff too, but it just didn't work. And like in terms of skating, like regardless of who was on the team, because I would say arguably one of the best teams at that time.
Yeah.
If you look at that list, you know, Ellington, Musker, Stevie, Greco,
Penny.
I
like
just
those 6 names alone before you even like start digging into like some of the AMs. And for me, like having Lucien on was such a big thing for me in Europe, and Oscar too. Like those guys, like still to today, we have like such a close relationship. Like they're my fucking homies for life. And
I just remember at that time, Kr3w Supra, it was like tour video. There was always seemed like that crew was always on the road doing something.
Well, I would do one every year, and I did 4 with that crew, and we'd be rolling 26 people deep. You know, we'd be shooting like for 2 magazines at once. We'd have like Kingpin on the road, and then Transworld, and then the next one would be Thrasher and whatever German mag, and
it was your job.
It was my job
to keep that shit under control.
To orchestrate,
organize all of it, from start to finish. I had one friend, like one colleague that helped me with it, but I used to organize that shit from start to finish.
Yeah.
Everything, store fit out to route, getting those dudes over, demos, sticking up those shits, making sure there was product, you know, like
Making
if there was
sure
a
they
shoe
didn't-
launch, like the product would have to be in every single store. I'd have to like
Yeah.
look after that too. Like it would get pretty complicated. It was a lot of work.
So how
And
was,
making sure they didn't go off the rails, because there's
I think that's the biggest job there,
That's some
isn't
pretty
it?
heavy
Yeah,
characters
yeah,
there.
and I will say, like, I definitely over the time working in that company for that company, I had some very, very interesting times, like dealing with those guys. You know, the drunken outbursts or the constantly being drunk and not doing your job. Like babysitting straight up, you know. It could go from like one night, like, you know, the 24 hours could be wake up, find Penny on the street somewhere. He's drunk already. It's 10 a.m. Get to the room. Musker won't leave because he's not feeling it today. Steve has got no weed, so he's being a dickhead. Like, and then like then finally getting them lot in the van, containing them for the afternoon, and then it gets to like after the demo, and it's like X dude's drunk. So Lucian's disappeared. I've got to try and find where he is. So and so's in the cells. And then I could wake up at 6 because Greco's at my door wanting me to get wood so we can get to a spot. And I'm like, that would be my day. And like those trips could be
How did
a
you
month
not
long.
murder them? I mean, you must be very patient
Yeah, patience, I guess. Yeah, patience.
and understanding, I guess, of knowing
Well,
what
look,
skateboarders are like.
Yeah, I mean, being a skater yourself, like, yeah, one, you can't really fucking stop someone from having a good time because that's what it's meant to be in the end. Like, yeah, okay, cool. You know, there's a job to be done. But those guys, like, they were like beyond professional, like to me. Because when it came down to doing the business, they would get it done.
They're like,
Like,
the superstars, aren't they? They're
Yeah.
like, you know, the top
I remember
dogs.
like the UK trip, for example, like Eric on that trip, like he was mind blowing how good he was. Like the tricks he did so easy, like every day. And he was like in his, you know, he was coming up to his mid-30s at that point. And I was just like, there's fucking hope for all of us. If this guy can like do this, like jump the way he was jumping on that trip.
But you must be very patient as well.
yeah.
So, Kr3w Supra's done. You're over tonight. Colin
Yeah.
Kennedy's hooked it up.
Yeah.
So, what's the change there? You move out of Barcelona, or are you staying
No,
there?
I stayed in Barcelona for like another year because to begin with, I was like a contractor. So,
Yeah.
you know, it was all in my time. So I basically like picked up where he left off. Team was fucking huge. Like it
Yeah, I
was
bet.
over 100 skateboarders, and
Fucking hell.
generally it
sort
was
out
my
those
job.
packages,
Yeah. It's generally my job to kind of look into that. But you know, obviously the role grew throughout. But in the beginning, like I think I started doing a few contests with some of the lower tier guys, and then it became like, you know, guiding Oski, going on, or you know, guiding that whole crew. We got Peastone on board. You know, I was always some American in the mix somewhere. I remember the first contest I did was like Far and High, and Lawan was there with us. So that global kind of aspect was always in the mix. But yeah, I think really we did a lot of Blu-ray in the beginning. And it was like, it would be like Oski, Nando, Jacopo Carosi, Yalta. But it was, the funny thing is actually like when I first got the job, I wasn't allowed to tell anybody for like maybe a month and a half. I think there was like a transition where the contract was getting drawn up. And living in Barcelona, which is like the epicenter of fucking skateboarding, right? Like you can't avoid anybody. And like word had started getting out. Like there's a new TM, it's this guy. And I remember one day like Kr3w had come to stay with me in my apartment for a week, and I was like stressing. I was like, "Fuck, man! Like half the team's here in the city. Like, how am I meant to go skating?" And I remember the one day, like we were at Macba, and like the filmer that we have, Kike, he was out with like Eunice and Max Gironzi and Fran Molina and all these other dudes. And they clocked, like I think Kike clocked, and he told them that it was me. And I wasn't even allowed to go and introduce myself to them. So I was like, fuck him, this is fucking stinking, I gotta go. So we bounced, we were like, let's go as far out of town as we possibly can. So we bounced out of town to like that one spot where you like ollie up and then do tricks over the bin. I don't know if you know it. I get there, they're fucking there, aren't they? And it's just us and them at the spot. And I remember Max was a dick to me for years afterwards. And Eunice told me, he was like, we thought you were a fucking idiot, mate, because like you didn't even introduce yourself. And I was like, yeah, but
they must understand now.
I was like, yeah, of course. I mean, I'm really close with those dudes now. But I remember just being like, I couldn't tell you. Like, the last thing I was going to do before my contract was signed was to introduce myself to you guys and be like, hey, I'm your new TM. But yeah, I mean, Max did not trust me for a long time after that. He was such a little dick to me for it.
Was there, I read this somewhere online, something about a Nike advert, Gladiator.
Oh my God, to this.
Turning.
Oh, this is
down.
McGee. This is one of McGee's favourites, this one.
Rumoured that it was £9,000 a day shooting.
It was,
rate.
I think it was like 10K or something like that. It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
You in a helicar.
Pete originally had the script, and I was cast to be the skate kid. But I don't know what happened. But Pete got in this like jam where he was like, "Oh man, it's too corporate." Like the dude chops the skateboarder's head off at the end. Like, this is what Nike will do to skateboarding. Like, they don't give a shit about us. Like, it's probably better that you don't do it. And me being me, I was like 19. You know, I was like, at this time, I was just like, cool, whatever you say. I agree. I believe you. If that's what you think is the best for me to do, then I'll go with what you say. And I think it ended up being like, Baines was skating and Irwin was a stunt double, or Baines was a stunt double and it was Irwin who got his head chopped off. But they got paid. Like, Irwin got paid. That's what I know. But McGee always bringing up a fucking Gladiator story, and I'd be like, dude, like, I was like a fucking kid. Like, what do I know? Yeah. Like, I know nothing about this. Like,
yeah, I think it's that. You know, probably not so much these days, but there's quite a lot of those things there where people stayed away from it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Were concerned about the ramifications,
the ramifications,
where their career trajectory is going and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, $10,000 for a day's work.
I know.
Would have been nice.
Blew it.
Working for Nike, looking after that enormous team.
I think the first thing that like really struck home to me when I got there was it was a couple of things. One was like that kind of glass ceiling that I'd been fighting against at Supra. For European skateboarders to reach global level, like that was you know the main task that Colin had at hand, and that's why he wanted me in, because he knew that I'd kind of done it with a couple of skateboarders at a small brand. It had worked, and he was really impressed with the way that it happened. So at Nike, it was really the same thing, and I think for Colin and I, like, it really played off of what we tried to do when we were skateboarders at Blueprint. Was to really accelerate, like, you know, local skateboarding to a global level. So really, I came in working with Colin, like, being on the same page. And like, that's basically how we tried to play it with every skater that came on the team. Yeah, of course, like, you got 120 odd European skateboarders, but you're not, you know, out of them, if 6 makes it through and they get in, you know, a global presence and they manage to get on a global board brand, or if their regional board brand is doing it so well that so it was just a continuation of that work, really. But the projects you get to work on, the people you get to work with, the filmers, the photographers you were able to pull through with you and help them build their careers, like, yeah, I would say it was so fulfilling in that sense. Like, I think, you know, at this point, at that stage, I was like, you know, there isn't really that many European skateboarders that I haven't worked with to help their careers.
Do you hear that lovely noise, Toby? That is today's show sponsor. Toby, take it away.
Today's episode is supported by Primate Tools.
Primate Tools have just dropped this new ratchet tool, which is insanely good. It has an ergonomically shaped stainless steel frame and a high impact composite handle.
It has all the sockets for your skateboard, but also features a grip tape file, a bearing pusher, and most importantly, it's got a ratchet. Sorry.
It's a great multifunctional tool that allows you to adjust axle nuts, change bearings, mounting hardware, and the kingpin nut right on top of the truck.
The all-steel ratchet system has a reversible axle kingpin socket and Phillips head and Allen key wrench that pressure fits into the side of the tool when not in use.
It is very good. It's auto-patented, which means you can only get this brilliant quality from Primate Tools, and they are available now at rollersnakes.co.uk. So, Toby, let's wind your nuts in and go back to the show now.
How do you wind your nuts in?
I'll show you.
Back to the show. Let's talk about the transition from Nike through to Vans. VF was next, wasn't it?
Meanwhile, I was in Nike for 6 years. I went from a contractor to being a head count. I was like commuting between the Netherlands and the UK. The job had really changed. I was able to start doing a bit more like project-wise. Like, for example, like I'd briefed in the Isle collab. I'd briefed in Enis Vazilov's shoe. We'd worked on all that. It was looking really rosy. We were on a lot of other cool shit like Dan van der Linden, all of his projects. COVID hit. I'd moved back from Barcelona to the UK. I'd had a hip surgery, so I had a hip resurface. So I was like, came back to the UK to have that done and continued working at Nike. Got the head count, flipped between the UK and Europe. But then COVID hit.
Yeah.
At that time, as every company did, they restructured. And part of that restructure was, you know, my job didn't exist anymore, basically. Through no fault of my own. But you kind of left with like, fuck, did I do something wrong? And at that time, like, there was no jobs. There wasn't any work. So I think like for a year, I kind of scrambled, like trying to like, because it hit me mentally, like I was fried. Like I couldn't figure out. I was having kids hitting me up every day to ride for Nike and get dunks off me still. Like I couldn't escape. Like in the end, I had to like get off social media and just kind of like refocus. I was asking around and nothing was really there. Like I went to Vans first actually and like asked them and it was like, no, we don't have anything, especially of what you're doing. So then I just kind of like worked for Amazon, delivering parcels for a good few months around Bristol. They got me out of the house. And then I started working, and then I did a bit of consultancy work for Dennis Martin again from Supra on his new project. But that like soon I realized like pretty immediately that wasn't going to play out. Like he couldn't give me any money. I wasn't really feeling his vision for the brand so much. As much as I really wanted to be part of something that was new and hopefully bring it, but there was nothing to really bring. So that failed. Then I like kind of spoke to Paul and Nick and we were talking about me like doing something with Isle and becoming a shareholder. And so I built out a plan for them, presented it to the whole team one day over dinner. That night they all quit because they were starting Atlantic Drift. So it was back to the drawing board and like, I mean, I was really struggling. Yeah, like I said, I was really struggling. I was like, I couldn't see that there was a place for me with all the experience that I had in the past. So my wife and I were like, look, gonna have a baby. Let's get out of here. We'll move to Cornwall. We'll start again. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I think I'm done. Like, I'm done with skating.
Yeah.
Like, there's no job for me. No one. I was like, I was that deep in it. I was like, actually, like, no one gives a fuck about me in this industry. Like, all the shit that I've done.
Yeah, it must be a tough one, like being so intertwined in so many skateboarders.
Well, that's it. And suddenly, my world had gone from like fucking huge. And working with all the people that like I really was like, the skateboarders I was really stoked on. Like, we were on so much good shit. Like, I think the bit like the last dudes I signed, I was like this is the future for NikeSB in Europe. Yeah. And it was like Etu and Noah Mahal and. I was just like, these are the kids. I'm making all the right moves. Like, why has this happened? Like, my brain couldn't help. And like in COVID, where you can't fucking even leave your house, like you just
sit there, just stirs. Fester in your own But there must have been a time like, I mean, I can't even begin to imagine that going from that level to nothing.
Yeah.
During COVID, can't get out of the house, and you're like,
it wasn't good.
No, I can imagine.
I would say like, like in being deep, but I think I still carry a bit of that with me today because it was just really hard. But I mean, a year. It took me over a year to get another job, and we moved to Cornwall. I was like, we'll start afresh. But I asked if Vans again, and there was a sales job, so I just applied for that. and you know, it took me a minute, but like I ended up working there, and where I am today. So yeah, like after all of that, like it was definitely a real start again. But it's been good. Like I guess it's changed. My way of work has changed, and like I for sure like definitely miss like that side, being that close to skating, because I'm not as close as I was. I miss that a lot. But I work in a really good team, and what we're doing is really going to be really good for the business. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of like onwards and upwards really from that
work
point.
with some really good accounts.
Yeah, work with some amazing accounts for you guys.
You had to get it in there, didn't you?
But it's rad. Like it's given me a broader perspective. You know, like I'm not 100% reliant on skateboarding, which I think is great. I mean, I certainly like interviewed outside of skating when I was trying to find a job, but at that point in time, I think my head was still so deep in what I've been doing, you know, prior to that, that I couldn't really get out of it. But yeah, I mean, it's banging. Yeah, I work with some great people. My team is like sick. People I work closely with are rad. You know, you get a lot of freedom, so it's cool.
Let's talk about art. Now
Art.
we've completed the industry section of the interview.
So fucking formal.
Oh, shut up. So over the years you've done graphics and stuff. Obviously you mentioned about doing your board graphic there.
Your graphics.
I mean, everything on the wall here, I definitely worked on.
And you've done you done some wheels there.
Yeah,
You got your
Shire's last board here, on the aisle, which I did.
So what's your relationship with art? And you know, was it just like another creative extension to skating, or?
Yeah, always. I think I've always drawn since I was young. So it's something I've always done. Like I would say I've never like 100% actively like pursued it, but it's always been there. Like it's always kind of I fell into doing something, you know, throughout my whole life, whether it be board graphics. Like today I do a lot of like paintings and stuff, and I've got like a residency in a gallery in Cornwall.
Oh, nice.
So I'm actively selling like stuff these days.
When you say paintings, what's the format? What are we talking, like on canvas or?
Yeah, canvas just canvas mostly actually.
Yeah.
Some stuff on boards and like card and stuff. Like it depends on the size. But generally it's like I've been doing like a lot of like 80 by 80 canvases, just because I find that's like I can get it through my front door and get it back out through my front door.
Convenience.
It's convenient.
But then, because how many kids you got?
One.
So you got one child. You're working full time, right? You're married. You're down there. Like, when do you get time to paint?
I don't. It's like really hard. Like I feel like it's just juggling everything. Like, you know.
I always I have this conversation quite a bit with people who have kids, but it's kind of alien to you, isn't it? But like the meticulous planning involved to maintain. You know, and I co-parent, so I'm not even there like 100% of the time, but like it is fucking insane. So like, you know, trying to then be like, right, tonight I'm going to paint.
I mean, at the moment, nothing really happens. I've been working so much that like I work, I see my daughter and my wife, and we hang out and spend time, and then I work again. But I think there are slower periods, and that's when I'm at home more and I paint a bit more then, and I skate a lot more. But that juggle is quite a lot. You know, sometimes it's sacrificing one for the other, but. Sometimes I just simply can't skate because my body's so knackered that I just paint
it sounds
instead.
like it's pretty fucked.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I was gonna sign off with asking how skateboarding is as you get older and with various injuries and whatnot. Because when I was spitting sawdust.
Yeah.
Who's shredding at spitting sawdust? I was watching. I was filming.
Had a good day.
I was admiring. I had your section songs playing in my head when I was filming you do front noses out on those ledges.
It's preparation and toleration. It's a bit of both. Like I think if I'm gonna skate, like I'll put a full day. Like I'll put my like yoga mat down. I've got like a bunch of like weights and foam rollers and balls and bands and stretches and supplements and some painkillers and I just like most Wednesdays we will skate if I'm there. And I'll spend the day between meals and at lunch and when I get up just doing exercises to kind of prep me to be able to move enough. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But you know what it's like you get you can be achy and you get in it and you forget about the ache and you're firing. And I think that happens a lot. Like, I think the one thing about moving to Cornwall especially is that, like, we're pretty blessed by the fact there's quite a lot of skaters our age there that are trying to skate, you know, like.
Is it the skateboarders'
We already spoke about
location?
Yeah, for sure. It's like the pensioners' home.
Yeah.
But, you know, we already spoke about Grover. He's there. Eddie Belvedere's there.
With his
Leo
party.
Sharp's there.
Yeah.
The twins are there. Stu Titmus is there. I have a friend, this guy Jordan from Canada, who I skate with a lot, who's down there. So, yeah, I mean, like, that's 7 off the top of my head. And then there's a bunch of young kids. But it's cool. Like, we Wednesday nights, as much of that list of crew get out as much as possible between kids and other work commitments and whatnot. But all those guys, like, still really rip. So it's just good to have that around you, because the pressure of, like, being good is, like, being a good skateboarder is off, and you just kind of have fun, and it just naturally is what it is. Like,
It's going back to why you started skating in the first place, isn't it? Doing
basically
your own enjoyment.
And I think, like, when I was talking about when I moved to Brixton after, like, being a professional skateboarder and whatnot and trying again, and like, being so deep in it for that many years and having to fight injury and other egos and being at the top of your game, you actually forget what it's like just to be just a skateboarder.
Yeah.
And I think that's, like, super important. I think I think today kids are probably better at taking in their stride than they did when I was younger. I think there was probably more to fight for back then, in a way, because everything was less obtainable, whereas now it's a bit different. So I feel like kids are able to be a bit more freer. But yeah, I mean, that physical act of just doing you out there is, like, yeah, it's kind of unmatchable, I think.
Before we wrap it up and sign off, do you reckon we could have a Vans collab shoot, Brains Rain Show X Vans?
I'm not the person to talk to.
At least a capsule.
Good answer. That's
Just
a good answer.
something, a capsule. Well, thank you for making the travel.
Yeah,
and
no
coming on
worries.
the show. It's been one that we've both wanted to get on for a while.
Yeah, it's been a good one. That was,
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. It's proper skate nerdy shit. So thank you
Yeah.
very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you for coming on. Do you
Well,
want to go downstairs and have a little?
Let's go and
try
get some
have a
fresh
little
air, 'cause
skate-
I'm-
a little skate around. Round of applause in the studio audience, please. Thank you very much.
Good.
Thank you very much for coming on. 250 quid for that board. Let me know.
Shut up.